What if everything you've been taught about Yahweh was wrong? What if the God you've prayed to, the one who is the cornerstone of the world's largest religions, isn't who you think he is? This documentary will challenge your most fundamental beliefs about the divine, exploring the possibility that Yahweh is not the singular, supreme creator of all things, but a more complex entity within a much grander cosmic framework. We will delve into ancient esoteric texts and long-forgotten wisdom to reveal a hidden truth. That the Yahweh of mainstream religions might be something far more complex than what you have been led to believe. We will introduce the concept of the demiurge from Gnostic traditions as a potential framework to understand Yahweh's true role, revealing that he may not be the ultimate source of all creation, but a flawed creator with his own limitations and agenda. For millennia, traditional Yahweh-centric beliefs have shaped the foundations of religious institutions, dictating morality, culture, and the very lens through which billions perceive the world. Yet, these established systems, while offering a framework for understanding existence, often fall short when it comes to fostering true spiritual growth and personal empowerment. These systems often demand obedience and instill fear, rather than encouraging the exploration of personal truth. They frequently foster a sense of dependence on external forces, rather than awakening the inner power that lies within each individual, creating a spiritual hierarchy that is often more concerned with control than with liberation. This documentary is not just about a theological debate. It's about reclaiming your inherent power, breaking free from limiting dogma, and embarking on a path toward authentic spiritual liberation. This is about more than just gaining knowledge. It is a path to understanding the very foundations of your spiritual existence, and by doing so, discovering a new way of being. Ancient mystery schools, such as the Kabbalists, possessed hidden interpretations of Scripture, revealing that the literal, surface-level meanings are often allegorical, concealing profound spiritual truths. These sacred texts are not just simple historical narratives, but contain encoded knowledge, designed to be unlocked by those who are willing to seek deeper meanings. Consider the phrase, "I am that I am." While often interpreted as a simple declaration of God's existence, its esoteric implications point to a much more profound understanding of the nature of reality and consciousness. In other ancient cultures, like that of Hinduism, a similar concept exists with the idea of Brahman, the ultimate reality underlying all existence, revealing a pattern that points to a universal understanding of the divine that transcends any single religion or culture. This signals the fact that scriptural stories are often symbolic narratives that convey profound spiritual and psychological truths, not just literal, historical events. Take, for example, the story of the fall of man, traditionally interpreted as an act of disobedience to God, but when seen through the Gnostic lens, reveals a metaphor for the entrapment of the human spirit in the material world, not as a punishment from God, but as a limitation imposed by a flawed creator, the demiurge. As we move forward, we must ask the hard questions. If Yahweh is truly all-loving, why does suffering exist? If this God is truly all-knowing, why would he permit evil to be created? These are not just philosophical musings, but deep contradictions that begin to reveal a hidden system, a power structure that has deliberately obscured these fundamental truths for millennia. There are forces and entities that have an agenda in keeping this knowledge hidden, and by understanding the nature of this hidden agenda, we can finally begin the process of liberation. As we continue, we will begin to uncover the specific methods to break free from this flawed system, and we will begin to unlock your own personal power through the wisdom we unveil. Prepare to have your most basic assumptions challenged as we embark on a journey that will answer your most pressing spiritual questions. The revelations to come will not only transform your understanding of Yahweh, but will offer a tangible path to a more empowered and liberated existence. Consider the Old Testament, the foundation upon which much of the world's religious beliefs are built. Within these pages, Yahweh is depicted as a powerful, an often wrathful God, capable of both immense creation and devastating destruction. He commands absolute obedience, meting out severe punishments for even minor transgressions. Think about the stories of the Great Flood, where the world is nearly destroyed, or the plagues upon Egypt, where countless innocents suffer, seemingly at the whim of a divine being. These are not the actions of a benevolent, all-loving God, but those of a being with a clear need for control and a volatile temperament. How can a truly perfect and compassionate God be responsible for such brutal acts, or for choosing a chosen people, displaying clear favoritism, and creating division amongst humanity? This isn't simply a critique of religious texts, but a call to analyze deeply the nature of the divinity being presented, and whether or not it aligns with the true essence of creation. These inconsistencies are not just minor details. They are glaring contradictions that demand a more profound explanation, an explanation that has been intentionally obscured by those who benefit from the traditional power structures. This is where the Gnostic concept of the demiurge comes into play. The Gnostics, a diverse group of mystics and thinkers from the early centuries of the Common Era, posited that the material world was not created by the ultimate true God, but by a lesser, flawed entity known as the demiurge. This entity, often depicted as arrogant, ignorant, and jealous, believes itself to be the supreme creator, but is, in fact, far removed from the true source of all things. Imagine a master craftsman who can build amazing machines, but who has no awareness of the true source of the materials that make the machine possible. The Gnostics saw this demiurge as trapping human spirits within the material realm, creating a reality of suffering, limitation, and ignorance. This world is not a paradise created by a benevolent God, but a prison constructed by a being with limited understanding and a desire for control. The demiurge, in his arrogance, demands worship and obedience, mirroring the Yahweh of the Old Testament, a stark contrast with the idea of a truly infinite and all-loving God, which would have no need of such things. This provides a powerful alternative lens through which to view the narratives of the Old Testament, transforming the perception of Yahweh from the supreme creator to a limited, if powerful, entity within a larger cosmic structure. Consider the parallels. The demiurge, as described in Gnostic texts such as the Apocryphon of John, is said to be jealous and insecure, constantly demanding recognition and praise, mirroring the Yahweh who requires sacrifices and who punishes those who worship other gods. The demiurge is depicted as a being who creates through limitation and division, a world of duality and conflict, mirroring the Old Testament's creation of a world of good and evil, light and darkness, and a world that is full of suffering and trials. This entity is also described as being ignorant of the true nature of the divine, believing himself to be the ultimate God, paralleling Yahweh's claim to be the only God and his lack of awareness of any higher power. The Gnostic texts often describe the demiurge as a blind craftsman, working from a limited perspective and therefore unable to create true perfection. This resonates with the flaws and contradictions apparent in the Old Testament narrative, highlighting that what appears as divine will may actually be the actions of an arrogant, limited, lesser entity, attempting to control the human spirits that are trapped within this fabricated reality. These are not just coincidental similarities, but fundamental aspects of a hidden understanding that has been concealed for centuries, presenting the possibility that the Yahweh of the Old Testament is, in fact, the Gnostic demiurge, a flawed creator who keeps us in a state of ignorance, making it hard for us to understand our true nature. These parallels begin to expose a hidden truth that goes against the accepted religious narrative, that the Yahweh presented in traditional texts might not be the ultimate source of creation, but a flawed entity who desires to be worshipped, who creates division, and who demands blind obedience. This challenges the long-held beliefs of many, forcing us to ask fundamental questions about the nature of divinity and the true structure of the cosmos. It implies that what we have been taught as divine is in actuality the manipulations of a lesser power, seeking to maintain control over humanity through fear and dependence. This is not to suggest a rejection of spirituality, but rather an invitation to explore a more nuanced understanding that goes beyond the limitations of traditional dogma. The path forward requires us to question the very foundations of our belief systems and to embark on a journey of inner exploration to discover the truth for ourselves. This is not about replacing one belief with another, but about understanding that the current narrative is incomplete and that a deeper truth has been concealed. It is a call to begin the process of uncovering that deeper truth and to reclaim the inner power that has been kept hidden for far too long. Now let's turn to the ancient mystery schools, specifically the Kabbalists, who possessed a deeper understanding of Scripture beyond its literal interpretation. They understood that the surface-level text was designed to veil profound spiritual truths, accessible only to those who had undergone rigorous initiations and were ready to receive the knowledge. These ancient schools taught that the Scriptures are not simply historical accounts, but coded texts containing symbolic keys to understanding the nature of reality and the divine. Think of it like a complex musical score. To the untrained observer, it's just a series of lines and dots, but to a skilled musician, it reveals a symphony of intricate harmonies and melodies. Similarly, the Kabbalists believed that the Scriptures contained hidden dimensions of meaning, requiring a deeper understanding of the symbolic language and esoteric context. The surface story was just the beginning, designed to guide those ready to find the deeper meanings and to obscure these meanings from those who were not. This means that what many understand as basic religious doctrine is in actuality a superficial view of a much larger, more complex spiritual reality that awaits discovery. This also implies that spiritual knowledge is not simply for those who are chosen, but for those who make the commitment to seek it out. The phrase, "I am that I am," is perhaps one of the most profound examples of this hidden meaning. On the surface, it appears as a simple declaration of God's name, but the Kabbalists saw it as an expression of pure being, a universal principle that transcends any single deity. The Hebrew word Yahweh, translated as I am, is not just a personal name, but a statement of existence itself, an expression of the unmanifest source from which all of creation arises. The Kabbalists understood that I am is not just a designation for an external God, but a recognition of the divine essence that resides within all beings. This aligns with the concept of the Atman in Hinduism, a word that translates to self, and that is believed to be identical to Brahman, the universal spirit, and also aligns with the Hermetic principle that, as above, so below, meaning that the principles that operate on a cosmic scale also operate within each individual. This means that the true divine is not something outside us to be worshipped, but an inner reality that we can realize through direct experience, and therefore that the true divine is not a being, but a state of being. This transforms the way we view ourselves, from dependent followers to powerful creators who are intimately connected to the source of all that is. This is not about denying an external divine presence, but about understanding that the true essence of the divine is also present within us. This interpretation shifts the perception of Yahweh from a personal tribal God, demanding specific forms of worship and obedience, to a universal principle of existence, which is found in all cultures and traditions, and that is beyond any single religion or cultural understanding. The traditional view of Yahweh is that of a national God, a deity who favors one particular group of people and is concerned with their success and prosperity. But this limited view contrasts sharply with the Kabbalistic understanding of the true divine, which is described as limitless, without form, and beyond any single cultural expression. This means that Yahweh is not the singular supreme creator, but perhaps a powerful entity, a local manifestation of the divine source, and in that way, a limited perception of that infinite divine source. The I am that the Kabbalists spoke of is not the same as the I Am of the Old Testament. The I Am they spoke of was a universal statement of being that could be uttered by any being throughout the universe. The true God transcends all cultural and religious boundaries, while Yahweh is presented as a specific tribal deity with particular rules and demands. This distinction is crucial for understanding that the path to true divinity is not exclusive to a single religion or culture, but is a universal path that is available to all. The true source of creation cannot be contained within a single belief system. This begins to reveal a crucial pattern. That the true divine is not an external being to be worshipped, but an internal essence to be realized, shifting the focus from external worship to internal self-discovery. This means that your path to divinity is not based on how closely you can follow the demands of a religion or dogma, but rather on your commitment to inner work and the development of your conscious awareness. This is not to undermine the value of external rituals or practices, but rather to emphasize that their true meaning lies in their ability to direct us back to our inner essence. This perspective completely transforms the path of spirituality, moving it from one of external authority to one of personal empowerment, and making the path to spiritual growth a personal undertaking. It is not about submitting to a set of external rules or beliefs, but about discovering the divine potential that lies within each of us, and that this journey of self-discovery is the true path to understanding the nature of the divine. This shift in understanding places the power directly back into your hands, making you the active participant in your own spiritual journey, not a passive follower. This also means that you already have everything you need to begin this journey within yourself, and that the path to divinity is not a search for an external entity, but a journey of self-realization. With this understanding, let us now turn to the esoteric interpretation of the fall of man. The Gnostic texts portray the story of Adam and Eve not as an act of disobedience against a loving God, but as a strategic manipulation by the demiurge designed to trap human spirits within the material realm. The Gnostics view the Garden of Eden not as a paradise, but as a carefully constructed prison where the souls are kept in a state of ignorance, disconnected from their true divine essence. The fruit of the tree of knowledge is not a source of sin, but an awakening of consciousness, an awareness of the demiurge's deception, and the possibility of escape from his control. This dramatically contrasts with the traditional interpretation of the story, where eating the fruit is the cause of humanity's fall from grace, that makes humans guilty and therefore dependent on the forgiveness of an external God. In reality, the Gnostics argued, this was not an act of defiance against the Creator, but the first step on the path to liberation, a realization that the world we know is not all there is. This new perspective changes the narrative from one of guilt and punishment to one of entrapment and the need for liberation, revealing the demiurge as the captor and humanity as the captive. The material world, according to this Gnostic view, is not inherently evil, but a lower vibration, a realm of illusion and limitation created by the demiurge, who maintains it to keep souls entrapped. This is also the concept of Maya in Hindu philosophy, the idea that the world of appearances is an illusion, a veil that obscures the true reality of the divine. The demiurge uses this material illusion to keep spirits in a state of forgetfulness, preoccupied with sensory experiences and worldly desires, preventing them from realizing their true divine nature. Think of it like a complex holographic projection. It appears to be real, but is actually made up of light and information. Similarly, the material world is a constructed reality, a projection designed to distract and control us, created by the demiurge to keep us unaware of our true spiritual nature. This world, therefore, is not a test or a natural habitat for the human spirit, but a constructed prison designed to keep us from remembering our true divine essence. This means that the limitations we experience, the struggles we face, are not part of some divine plan or test, but the result of being trapped within this lower vibrational reality. This contrasts with the traditional interpretation that views suffering and limitation as a divine test or punishment designed to mold us into better beings in order to receive the grace of an external deity. The Gnostic view reveals that these are not the consequences of our actions or the will of a loving God, but the intentional results of the demiurge's manipulations, designed to keep us in a state of dependency and spiritual amnesia. The demiurge's power depends on our ignorance of our true nature, and his system is designed to keep us from realizing our full potential, convincing us that we are small, powerless, and dependent on external forces for our salvation. This perspective allows us to see the world's suffering not as a mysterious act of an all-knowing God, but as the consequence of a flawed and limiting system designed by a lesser entity who seeks to dominate. This also means that the path to liberation is not about external submission to a religious authority, but an internal process of self-discovery and the recognition of your divine nature. This understanding shifts the responsibility for liberation from a higher external force to the individual's inner work and understanding, transforming the dynamic from one of victimhood to one of personal responsibility. This means that the limitations and suffering that we experience are not divine punishments, but the results of this imprisonment, and that the purpose of our spiritual journey should not be to become a better person as demanded by the demiurge, but to escape this limiting system and reclaim our true divine nature, revealing that the true Creator does not demand subservience, but invites each individual to discover their own inner potential. This shift in perspective allows us to understand our personal struggles not as a divine test, but as the consequence of being trapped within a flawed structure, thereby setting the stage for the need to break free from this system through personal gnosis, through personal knowledge. The path to true liberation, according to this view, is through understanding this system and realizing that we are not limited to its rules, setting the stage for us to be able to take steps to reclaim our inherent power and to once again take part in true creation. This brings us to the concept of gnosis, the direct, personal knowledge or experience of the divine, which is presented as the path to liberation from the demiurge's control. Gnosis is not about intellectual understanding or blind faith, but a direct, visceral experience of the true reality and awakening to our divine nature. It's a process of self-discovery that goes beyond the limitations of the material world, connecting us to our true essence. This knowledge transcends the boundaries of any single religion or doctrine, offering a universal path to liberation for all those who seek it. The path of gnosis is a personal one, requiring deep introspection, dedication to spiritual practice, and a commitment to self-discovery that cannot be outsourced to any guru, teacher, or church. It is a journey that requires courage, persistence, and a willingness to challenge one's most fundamental beliefs. This is about more than simply believing a new system. It is about experiencing your own divinity and therefore liberating yourself from dependence on the demiurge's flawed system. The path to gnosis does not lie in traditional religious practices of faith and worship, which are seen as methods of reinforcing the demiurge's control. Instead, it requires self-inquiry, spiritual practices, and conscious development of inner awareness. This is about developing a personal relationship with the divine that is not mediated by any external authority. Gnosis involves questioning the very nature of reality, challenging the assumptions we have about the world, and expanding our understanding of the true nature of existence. Instead of blindly following the rules and demands of an external authority, the path of gnosis asks each individual to seek their own truth, to find their own connection to the divine, and to build that relationship through personal experience. This shifts the focus from external obedience to internal understanding and personal empowerment, and it makes this process available to all, not just to those who follow the accepted doctrines of any particular religion. The true spiritual journey is about personal transformation, not external conformity, that we must become the masters of our own destinies and not the servants of an external power. Ancient esoteric texts outline specific practices designed to disrupt the demiurge's control and connect with the true source of divinity, techniques that go beyond the surface-level practices of most traditional religions and instead lead to true inner transformation. These practices include guided meditation, which can help us focus our minds and become aware of our thoughts. Visualization, which can help us create our reality, and energy work, which helps us to understand and control our own subtle energy systems. These practices are not about escaping the material world, but about gaining mastery over it by understanding how it is constructed and how we can break free from its limitations. These tools work to create altered states of consciousness where we can begin to access the deeper truths and connect with the divine source within us, bypassing the limitations of the demiurge's fabricated reality. These are specific tools for spiritual liberation, and when applied with intention and dedication, will lead directly to spiritual freedom. This means that the path to enlightenment is not an abstract idea, but a practical journey that you can undertake right now with your own commitment and intention. These techniques are not the sole domain of any single religion or culture. They are a universal set of tools available to all those who seek them, a pattern that goes across cultures and time. These methods have been practiced in various forms by mystics and spiritual seekers throughout history and across all parts of the globe. They are not unique to any single tradition, but are tools for transformation that are available to all those who are committed to a journey of inner work. This underscores that spiritual truth is not limited to a specific group or geographical location, but a universal essence that is available to all who seek it. The path to self-realization and spiritual freedom is not dependent on birthright or cultural background, but a commitment to the development of consciousness, which is an internal process. The wisdom and tools are available to you right now if you chose to explore them. This means that true liberation is not a privilege, but a birthright, that the path to spiritual enlightenment is available to all if they chose to explore it. This also means that any system that says otherwise is simply a flawed expression of the truth and is therefore a construct of the demiurge. This brings us to a profound realization. The true source of creation is not a distinct entity separate from us, but an essence that resides within each individual. We are all a fragment of the divine, and we possess the innate power to align with the true source of all things, and through that alignment, we are able to break free from the control of the demiurge. This shifts the idea of divinity from a distant, external being to an intrinsic, internal reality, highlighting that our true potential is not something we have to gain, but something we already possess. This does not mean that we are all gods in the traditional sense, but that we all carry the spark of the divine within us, and that we are part of the same unified source. The power to create, to heal, to transform is not something we need to seek from an external source, but something that is already within each of us waiting to be awakened. This also means that the answers you seek are not outside of you, but within you, and it is in the process of inner work that you will be able to find them. The demiurge's power, in this context, is based on our ignorance of our true nature. By recognizing our inherent connection to the true source of creation, we can break free from his control, and we can begin the path of self-realization. The demiurge's system is built upon deception, and the most fundamental deception is the idea that we are separate from the divine, that we are flawed beings that are dependent on an external force. The path to liberation lies in realizing that we are not separate, but are intimately connected to the source of all creation, and when we fully embody this truth, we will take our power back. As we deepen this understanding, the influence of the demiurge begins to fade, and we reclaim the spiritual sovereignty that we have always possessed. This is not a matter of simply believing, but of realizing, of knowing directly that you are part of something much greater than the limited version of yourself that the demiurge wants you to believe in. This realization is not just a concept, but a lived experience that completely transforms our perception of self and reality. This also means that the key to spiritual freedom is not about fighting against an external enemy, but reclaiming our awareness of our true, divine nature. When we align ourselves with this true source of creation instead of the demiurge, we access a deeper level of spiritual awareness, inner strength, and freedom from limiting paradigms, breaking the chains of the demiurge's control. We move from a position of dependence and fear to a state of empowerment and self-mastery, realizing that we are co-creators of our reality. The path to spiritual liberation is a path of self-mastery, not external obedience, and it begins when we take responsibility for our own spiritual growth. The shift from worshiping a flawed external deity to understanding our inner divine essence moves us from a position of victimhood to one of empowerment and mastery, and is a journey that empowers us to reclaim our true creative power. This means that true freedom lies not in escaping the material world, but in understanding its nature and by taking control over our own experience within it. The shift from dependence to mastery is the very core of personal freedom and the essence of true spirituality. This is not just a philosophical concept, but a practical path to personal transformation. The next step in this journey is to understand the practical applications of this knowledge, how we can begin to break free from the limiting systems that have held us captive for so long. We will explore the actionable steps you can take to begin your own journey of self-discovery and spiritual liberation, giving you specific tools to reclaim your power. The true power lies not just in knowing these truths, but in applying them to your life, taking action, and moving towards spiritual freedom, and this is where the real journey begins. The illusion of materiality is not a harmless deception, but a sophisticated construct designed to keep you tethered to a reality of limitation and suffering, and to keep you from realizing your true potential. This is not about denying the existence of the physical world, but understanding that it is not the ultimate reality. It is a lower vibrational frequency, a dense manifestation of energy designed to keep you from the true source of creation. Think of it as a highly detailed, immersive video game, so realistic that you forget you are playing, completely convinced that the virtual world is all that exists. The demiurge, as the game's programmer, has crafted this experience meticulously, controlling your perceptions and limiting your awareness to keep you within its boundaries. This material world, with all its seemingly solid objects and sensory experiences, is simply a projected reality, a holographic construct built to maintain the illusion of separation from the divine, a prison designed to keep you from remembering who you truly are. This prison is not made of bars or walls, but of the very thoughts, beliefs, and desires that keep you focused on the external world instead of your internal power, and in that way, completely enslaving you to the demiurge's desires. This is not just a philosophical concept, but a fundamental understanding of how reality is structured. It is an invitation to view your everyday experience through a new lens, to question what you have accepted as real, and to begin the process of liberation from the constraints of this limited world. The demiurge's control is maintained through the manipulation of your senses and emotions, keeping you trapped in a cycle of craving and attachment. This carefully crafted reality is designed to stimulate your senses, to create desires for physical pleasures and material possessions, keeping your focus on the fleeting and temporary aspects of existence. Consider how advertising constantly bombards you with messages that tell you that you need this or that to be happy, how social media creates a desire for validation, and how the fear of loss keeps you clinging to things that are ultimately impermanent. These are not accidental occurrences, but a direct manifestation of the demiurge's control matrix. By keeping your attention focused on the external world, the demiurge prevents you from turning inward, from exploring your true potential, and therefore keeps you trapped within his fabricated reality, making it incredibly difficult for you to recognize your true nature and your inherent connection to the divine. The demiurge, in his arrogance and ignorance, believes that he has the right to control you, and his power lies in your willingness to believe in the illusion that he has created. This is not about denying the experiences of the physical world, but about understanding that they are not the ultimate source of truth or the true essence of reality. The demiurge's structure is built upon the concept of duality, a system of opposing forces that keeps you trapped in a state of constant conflict and imbalance. You are told that there is good and evil, right and wrong, light and darkness, creating the illusion of separation and conflict. This dualistic thinking keeps you trapped in a pendulum swing of emotional extremes, constantly seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, perpetuating a cycle of suffering that never truly ends. This duality is not an inherent aspect of reality, but a fabricated construct designed to keep you disempowered, keeping you in a constant search for something outside yourself to make you feel whole. This pursuit will never work as long as you are focusing your energy on the external world instead of the internal world, where your true power resides. The demiurge wants you to believe that you are inherently flawed, that you need something outside of yourself to be complete, but this is the core deception that keeps you from recognizing your own divinity. The key to liberation lies in transcending this duality, in recognizing that you are both light and darkness, good and evil, and that true wholeness comes from embracing all aspects of yourself, and thereby breaking free from the chains that keep you enslaved. This is not about ignoring the dualistic nature of reality, but understanding its true nature so you can begin to move beyond it. Your personal struggles are not a sign of divine punishment or a reflection of your inherent worthlessness, but the result of being trapped within this flawed system, a system that is designed to keep you in a state of fear, doubt, and limitation. The demiurge wants you to believe that your suffering is a necessary part of some divine plan, but that is simply a deception designed to keep you under his control. This shifts the focus from external blame to internal responsibility, from being a victim to becoming a creator of your own reality. The pain that you experience in your life is not a reflection of your value, but a signal that you are still entangled in the demiurge's web of illusion. Your struggles are not a test of faith, but an opportunity for growth, a chance to awaken and reclaim your true power. This understanding is not designed to make you feel guilty or hopeless, but to empower you to take control of your life and move beyond the limitations imposed upon you by this flawed system. Because the truth is that you were designed to thrive, not to suffer, and that your suffering is simply a sign that you are not in alignment with your true potential. This empowers you to shift the focus from seeking external validation to seeking internal empowerment, and this shift alone will change your experience. By understanding the true nature of this illusion, by recognizing that the material world is not all that exists, you gain the ability to begin to break free, opening up the possibility of liberation. This is not about escaping this world, but about transcending its limitations, by recognizing it for what it truly is and moving beyond its fabricated boundaries. It is in the recognition of the illusion that the first step toward liberation begins. The demiurge's power lies in your ignorance, in your willingness to believe in the false reality that he has created. But when you begin to see through this deception, you reclaim your power. This knowledge itself begins to loosen the grip of the demiurge's control, setting the stage for the introduction of practical techniques and practices that will further facilitate your liberation. This isn't simply about learning a new philosophy, but about a process of conscious awakening, a process of reclaiming your true power and taking responsibility for your experience within this reality, and in doing so, you begin the journey to self-mastery. The next step in this journey is not to study the illusion further, but to take direct action and to use the ancient techniques of gnosis to liberate yourself from the demiurge's control. Gnostic practices, such as guided meditation, contemplation, and visualization techniques, are not mere exercises for relaxation, but specific tools designed to disrupt the demiurge's control and to connect with the true source of divinity, providing a direct path to self-realization. These techniques, passed down through ancient mystery schools, are not just rituals, but keys to unlocking the hidden potential that lies within each individual. The true purpose of these ancient mystery schools was not to teach complex dogmas, but to facilitate a direct experience of the divine, a process of self-realization that went beyond intellectual understanding, and instead led directly to enlightenment through practical experience. Each of these practices provides a specific way to access the deeper layers of consciousness that are inaccessible through normal sensory perception, moving you past the limitations of the demiurge's carefully crafted prison. These are not just ancient techniques, but practical methods for accessing altered states of consciousness, states where the true nature of reality can be revealed. By utilizing these tools, you move from a state of theoretical knowledge to one of direct experience, from a position of dependence to one of self-mastery, and in that way begin the path towards liberation from the demiurge's influence. These Gnostic practices are designed to help you develop inner awareness, allowing you to see beyond the limitations of the material world and recognize the illusion for what it is, a fabricated reality designed to keep you from your true nature. Through meditation, you learn to quiet the mind, to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, which begins to break their hold on you and allows you to experience the deeper layers of your awareness. Contemplation allows you to delve into the mysteries of existence, to ponder the nature of reality, and to gain deeper insights into the workings of the universe. Visualization is a tool that empowers you to create your own reality, to manifest your desires, and shape your experience. These are not just mental exercises, but specific technologies for self-transformation, tools that allow you to transcend the limitations of the material world and connect with the true source of creation, revealing that your potential goes beyond the boundaries set by the demiurge's prison. These are not simply theoretical concepts, but practical ways for experiencing reality outside the parameters set by the demiurge. These practices are the tools that you need to not only understand that you are trapped, but to become free. These practices are not exclusive to any spiritual tradition. They are universal techniques that can be used by anyone who is willing to commit to the inner work. They are not about joining a particular religion or following a specific dogma, but about embarking on a personal journey of self-discovery and inner transformation. Whether you are a seasoned meditator or a complete beginner, these techniques are accessible to you right now and can immediately start you on the path to liberation. These practices, while ancient, are not beyond modern understanding, but deeply connect with the current understanding of neuroscience, providing a practical pathway for accessing the true nature of reality. As you delve deeper into these methods, you will discover that they are not limited to the spiritual domain, but that they have practical implications for your everyday life, bringing clarity, focus, and empowerment into all your experiences, and therefore they become a powerful tool for changing your life in practical ways and freeing yourself from the limitations of the demiurge's control. These practices are more than just esoteric concepts. They are actionable methods that provide a path for spiritual liberation and therefore a pathway to self-mastery. The immediate benefits of these practices include increased mental clarity, emotional stability, and a deeper sense of connection with your true self, and these benefits serve as evidence of their practical effectiveness, reinforcing their value as tools for self-transformation. As you practice meditation, you will find that your mind becomes calmer and more focused, and you will be able to observe your thoughts without being overwhelmed by them. Contemplation allows you to gain new perspectives and insights and find meaning in the chaos of existence. Visualization empowers you to take control of your inner world and therefore create the external reality you desire. These benefits are not just temporary feelings, but a foundation for permanent inner transformation, as they directly impact your way of experiencing the world, as well as your ability to influence its direction, showing the direct effect of these practices on your overall well-being. The path to personal empowerment is not always a slow process, but you can begin to experience its benefits right away and begin to build momentum on your path to liberation. And this combination of instant relief and long-term progress becomes a powerful tool that propels you forward. These techniques provide the foundation for not only liberation from the demiurge's control, but also the framework for taking full responsibility for your reality. These practices, however, are just the beginning. Your journey of self-discovery will continue to deepen as you incorporate an understanding of the energetic nature of reality. The demiurge's power is not limited to the manipulation of your thoughts and beliefs, but also extends to your physical body and its energetic field, so you must address both. The understanding of energy work is essential for understanding the true nature of reality, and using this knowledge to disrupt the demiurge's control, as it provides the deeper understanding of how the demiurge's control functions beyond the mental constructs that we have been exploring, and moves into the very nature of the physical world. This understanding starts with the idea that reality is not just solid matter, but a complex dance of energy, vibration, and frequency, and by learning to harness these forces, you gain the ability to transform your experience at a fundamental level. This is not just a spiritual concept, but a principle that is supported by modern scientific research that further validates the esoteric understanding of reality by showing the direct connection between what once seemed mystical and what we now consider to be science. This is more than a philosophical idea, it's a scientific observation that is now coming into our awareness. The very nature of reality is shifting, and with it, our understanding of the power that lies within us. Sound and vibration are powerful tools that can be used to alter states of consciousness and break free from limiting patterns, revealing the direct connection between the very nature of matter and the human experience. Specific frequencies and sound vibrations can be used to heal and transform the body and mind, addressing limitations that go beyond the physical. This is not just a matter of listening to relaxing music, but using specific tones and frequencies that have been scientifically shown to affect brainwave states by inducing different states of consciousness. Chanting, tuning, and mantras can be used to harmonize the energy field and to break down the limiting patterns that the demiurge has imposed upon you. By understanding the power of sound and vibration, you gain the ability to take a direct role in your own healing, moving beyond the need for external forces and into a position of self-mastery. Specific sound frequencies can be used to activate specific areas of the brain that can induce altered states of consciousness and create powerful healing experiences that directly counteract the influence of the demiurge. Understanding the power of sound and vibration connects the ancient spiritual understanding of reality with current scientific discoveries and begins to bridge the gap between what once seemed mystical and what we now understand to be practical science. Practical methods of using sound and vibration to disrupt the demiurge's control include chanting specific mantras, listening to particular frequencies, or even simply using your own voice with intention. You can use specific vowel sounds to activate different energy centers in your body and create a direct impact on the energy flow of your own bioenergetic field. By incorporating these practices into your daily routine, you start to take direct action over your own energetic state, therefore reclaiming your sovereignty. These techniques are not about escaping the material world, but about mastering it, learning to manipulate the energetic frequencies that make up your reality, and using that power to move into a more empowered state. These are not complicated rituals, but simple practices that anyone can incorporate into their daily routine. The key to success is intention, consistency, and a willingness to experiment and discover what works best for you. These methods empower you to directly influence the very nature of your reality, using the power of sound to heal and transform your body, mind, and spirit, giving you a very practical pathway to self-transformation. This understanding is critical for realizing that your experience is malleable, and you are the one who has the ability to shape it. These techniques are not magical or mystical, but grounded in an understanding of the fundamental principles of reality and how energy can be manipulated and directed. Just as a musician tunes an instrument to create harmonious tones, you can tune your own energy field using sound and vibration to bring your entire energetic system into a state of coherence. You can think of your body as an orchestra, and each organ and system has its own specific resonant frequency, and when these frequencies are in harmony, your body and mind will thrive. But when they are out of tune, they will create discord and lead to suffering. By using sound, you can literally retune yourself to realign your system with its natural state of equilibrium, and this has been shown in many scientific studies to be extremely effective. This approach does not require complicated steps or elaborate rituals. It simply requires an understanding of your own energetic nature and a commitment to using these tools to bring balance and harmony to your life. This understanding allows you to move away from thinking of your body as a static entity to understanding it as a dynamic energy field that can be directly influenced through intention and specific techniques, thereby giving you more control over your experience. This awareness of your personal energetic field empowers you to become the master of your own reality, instead of a victim of its effects. However, even with all these practices, the most important aspect of your journey is to understand that your beliefs are the building blocks of your reality, and therefore, by reprogramming your limiting beliefs, you can directly alter the reality you experience. What you believe to be true shapes your experience of the world, and that is why the demiurge is so focused on keeping you in a state of ignorance and fear. But when you understand the true nature of your power, you can start to take back control of your reality. This is not just about thinking positive thoughts, but about deeply examining the core beliefs that shape your experience and directly challenging the ones that are not serving you, because even if you change your thoughts, but not your beliefs, you will continue to be bound by the limitations you have accepted to be true. Your limiting beliefs are like the foundations of a building, and if the foundations are weak, the entire structure will be unstable. Therefore, true transformation must start with reprogramming these beliefs so that you can create the reality that you truly desire. This is a call for you to begin to consciously examine what you have accepted to be true and understand that you have the power to change it. To reprogram limiting beliefs, you must first identify them, and this requires a degree of self-awareness and introspection. This means that you must examine your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors to uncover the underlying beliefs that drive your actions, which are often unconscious. When you begin to become aware of your inner dialogue, you will start to notice patterns that repeat, and once you can bring these patterns into the light of your conscious awareness, you gain the power to change them. Once you have identified these limiting beliefs, the next step is to challenge them by asking questions like, is this belief actually true? Is this belief serving me? What would it look like if I didn't believe this? When you question your beliefs, they begin to lose their power, and when they lose their power, they no longer hold you captive to their influence. By using affirmations and visualizations, you begin to reprogram your subconscious mind, creating new patterns of thought and behavior that align with your true potential. These tools are not just wishful thinking, but methods of creating new pathways in your brain, making new beliefs become ingrained and habitual, and therefore creating a shift in your reality. Your brain, after all, is not static, but plastic, able to be molded through intention and repetition, making this process a very powerful tool for transformation. Mastering your emotions is also essential, as your emotional reactivity is one of the main ways the demiurge is able to maintain control over your experience. And when you are able to understand your emotions, they no longer have the power to rule you. When you react impulsively to your emotions, you are vulnerable to manipulation and control. But when you take responsibility for your emotional state, you gain the power to navigate your experience consciously. The demiurge uses the emotional energy created by your reactions to maintain the illusion. Therefore, by learning to control your reactions, you become less vulnerable to this manipulation and more empowered in creating your own experiences. This is not about suppressing or ignoring your emotions, but about recognizing them for what they are. A form of energy that can be directed and transformed. By learning to observe your emotions without judgment, you gain the power to choose how you respond, rather than being ruled by the whims of your emotional state. Emotional mastery is a key element of self-mastery that empowers you to break free from the patterns of reactivity that have kept you bound by the demiurge. This process is a cornerstone of true self-empowerment and requires consistent attention and dedication. True transformation comes from within. It is not something that can be outsourced, because the power to change is a personal one, and you are the one who must take responsibility for your journey of self-discovery. You have the power to choose your thoughts, your beliefs, and your emotions, and these choices directly influence your experience of reality. This is not just a hopeful philosophy, but a practical method for taking responsibility for your experience. And by taking responsibility for your own transformation, you are directly moving against the demiurge's control, which is based on your belief that you are powerless. Your power lies in your individual choices, not in the hands of an external deity, and by taking control of your own journey, you are reclaiming your spiritual sovereignty. Your reality is a reflection of your inner world, and by transforming your inner world, you transform the world that surrounds you. This realization is not just a philosophical concept, but a path to personal empowerment that begins the moment that you decide that you will no longer be ruled by the demiurge's matrix of control. This path to self-mastery is not about escaping this world, but understanding its limitations and reclaiming your own inherent power within it. Ultimately, the journey of self-discovery is about realizing that the true source of divinity is not separate from you, but an essence that resides within, a spark of the divine that is waiting to be awakened. When you realize that you are not a flawed, separate being, but an integral part of the source of all creation, you will be able to access your unlimited potential. This is not just a belief, but a direct experience and the very core of spiritual enlightenment. The journey of liberation from the demiurge is a path of self-realization, an understanding that your divinity is not something that you need to earn or acquire, but something that you already possess, an awareness that is already within you, waiting to be awakened. When you start to embody this truth, your experience of reality will be fundamentally transformed, as you are no longer limited by the beliefs and fears that have been imposed upon you. The true power lies not in an external deity, but in the divinity that you hold within yourself. And in this recognition, you will find that the path to freedom has always been internal. By aligning with this God within, you are empowered to create your own reality, free from the limitations of the demiurge's construct and the restrictive belief systems of traditional religion. This means that you no longer need to accept the limitations that have been imposed upon you, but you can choose to create a reality that aligns with your true potential. This is not about ignoring the external world, but about transforming your experience of it by understanding that you are a co-creator of your reality. The demiurge's matrix of control relies on your belief that you are powerless, but by aligning with the divine source within, you are directly challenging this deception and reclaiming your creative power. Your perspective is the key to your liberation. When you believe you are powerful, you become powerful, and in this understanding, you will finally move into the full expression of your own divinity. This pathway is available to all, not just the chosen few, but anyone who commits to the journey of self-discovery, and this begins with the understanding that you already hold the key. The path of self-discovery is not about seeking salvation outside of yourself, but about reclaiming the divine power that resides within you, recognizing that the true source of creation is not something separate from you, but your own essential being. The traditional idea of salvation is based on the idea that you are a flawed being who needs to be saved by an external God. But this is a deception designed to keep you under the demiurge's control, and the truth is that the power to transform yourself is already within you, waiting to be awakened. True liberation comes not from escaping the world, but from mastering it, by recognizing your own divine nature, and using that power to create a reality that aligns with your highest potential. When you understand that you are not a powerless victim, but a divine creator, you will be able to move beyond the limitations that have been imposed upon you, and you will begin to finally live in alignment with your true potential. This is not about believing in something external, but about experiencing the divine within yourself, and therefore empowering you to break free from all limitation. The journey ahead is not about simply understanding these concepts, but about embodying them, about taking action, and about reclaiming the full expression of your divine nature, and this journey is only just beginning. The demiurge's matrix of control has held humanity captive for far too long, but the time of liberation has arrived. This is not just a journey of personal transformation, but a collective movement of awakening. The path to liberation is clear, and the tools are available. What is required is the courage to embrace your true potential and to reclaim the power that has always been yours. As we move towards the final section, we will solidify your understanding of your divine essence and provide the final keys to breaking free from all limiting paradigms and stepping into your full potential. It is time to fully understand that freedom is not given, but taken, and that you, as a divine being, have always had the power to create the world that you truly desire. The journey you have undertaken is not merely an intellectual exercise, but an alchemical transformation of your very being, a process of transmuting the base elements of your limited self into the gold of your true potential. Think of the ancient alchemists, not just as seekers of physical gold, but as masters of inner transformation, who understood that the true power lay not in transmuting lead into gold, but in transmuting the darkness of the human condition into the light of spiritual awakening. Their laboratories were not merely physical spaces, but metaphors for the human psyche, and the processes they undertook were reflections of the inner journey towards enlightenment, using their scientific experiments as symbols for the spiritual process. The alchemical process, with its stages of nigredo, albedo, and rubedo, represent distinct phases of the spiritual journey, which you can embody in your own personal transformation. This process, when undertaken with intention and awareness, is a powerful path for liberation, moving you beyond the limitations of the demiurge's control and into a state of self-mastery. This alchemical process is not a set of abstract principles, but a framework for your own personal transformation, designed to help you navigate the process of awakening and the integration of your own divinity into your daily life. The first stage of this inner alchemy, the nigredo, is the phase of darkness and decomposition, the breaking down of the old self, and the recognition of the limitations imposed by the demiurge's matrix. This is not a comfortable stage, but a necessary one, as it is in the darkness that the light begins to awaken. This stage is marked by a confrontation with your shadows, those aspects of yourself that you have long denied or suppressed, a process that often feels painful and challenging, but it is through this difficult work that you begin to truly understand the nature of the illusion. This confrontation is not meant to be a form of punishment or self-loathing, but a process of conscious excavation of the self, revealing the limitations that have kept you trapped in the demiurge's system of control. Like the alchemist breaking down the raw material to its base components, you must first break down the old structures of your identity in order to begin to build a new foundation based on truth and authenticity, making this stage the essential first step on your path towards transformation. The Negrito is where you stop believing in the story you have been told and begin to write your own, and in that way, begin the most important work of your life. The next stage, the albedo, is the phase of purification and cleansing, a process where you begin to wash away the limitations and negative patterns that you uncovered in the Negrito. This is a time of great emotional processing, a time to release the pent-up energy of past traumas, hurts, and disappointments. Self-forgiveness becomes paramount during this time, as you begin to recognize that your past mistakes do not define your true nature, and that you are worthy of compassion and love, beginning to treat yourself the way you would treat a cherished friend. Emotional mastery becomes a daily practice, as you learn to observe your feelings without judgment and to direct their energy with intention. This is not a process of ignoring or suppressing your emotions, but rather a process of transmuting them, shifting the focus from negative reactivity to conscious expression. This stage is a process of purifying your inner landscape, preparing the foundation for the final stage of the alchemical journey, using the power of emotional release to free yourself from the bonds of the past. This is a powerful shift in perspective and allows you to move forward into the future without the weight of your past holding you back. Finally, the rubedo is the stage of integration and wholeness, the culmination of the alchemical process, where the transformed self emerges, fully integrated with its divine essence. This is the state of true self-mastery, the realization of your unlimited potential, and the ability to live in alignment with your true nature. In this stage, you embody the awareness that the divine is not separate from you, but an intrinsic part of your very being, shifting from the pursuit of something outside yourself to the manifestation of the divine within yourself. This is not a state of perfection, but a state of wholeness, where you have embraced all aspects of yourself, including both the light and the darkness, thereby moving beyond the demiurge's control and into a state of true spiritual sovereignty. In the rubedo, you no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstance, but as the powerful creator of your own reality, living your life with purpose and intention, and shining your light for all to see, making this the most powerful manifestation of human potential. The journey through these three stages provides the alchemical framework for your liberation and allows you to move into the fullest expression of your true potential while transcending the limitations of the demiurge's control. This alchemical process of self-transformation is not just a metaphor, but a very real and practical path for breaking free from the demiurge's grip on your mind and reality. Through practices like emotional mastery, you learn to observe your feelings without judgment and to direct their energy consciously. Using visualization techniques, you learn to create mental images of the reality you desire and to empower yourself to consciously manifest them. While practicing self-forgiveness, you learn to release the burdens of the past, opening your heart to the present moment. These practices, when used consistently, become powerful tools that enable you to break down the prison of limiting beliefs and step into your true nature, a process that is both practical and profoundly empowering. These are not simply abstract theories, but are specific techniques for achieving self-mastery and spiritual awakening, allowing you to become the master of your own experience. In this way, the inner transformation becomes the most direct path to liberation from external control, and it is available to anyone willing to commit to the work. As you navigate this inner alchemical process, it is important to understand that your inner landscape is directly connected to the holographic nature of reality, a concept that further illuminates the demiurge's control over your perception and power. The idea of Maya, which we have discussed, is not just a philosophical concept, but a reflection of the deeper truth that the material world is an illusion, a projection of a more fundamental level of reality. This idea is not just an ancient esoteric teaching, but it is supported by modern physics through the holographic principle, which suggests that the entire universe can be thought of as a projection from a two-dimensional surface, similar to a hologram, adding further complexity to the idea of Maya and supporting it with concrete scientific evidence. This holographic understanding of reality suggests that the physical world is not as solid as it seems, but rather a complex dance of energy and information, making the physical world seem more like a projection from a deeper source. This understanding changes your very definition of reality and allows you to comprehend the nature of how your reality is created. This holographic model of reality is also supported by the findings of quantum physics, particularly the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, where two particles become connected in such a way that the state of one particle instantly affects the other, regardless of the distance separating them. This interconnectedness at the quantum level demonstrates that everything in the universe is connected, a concept that challenges the conventional view of separate, independent objects and forces, and suggests that reality is a unified whole rather than a collection of separate parts. This interconnectedness is not merely a theoretical concept, but a fundamental aspect of reality, one that has profound implications for our understanding of consciousness and our ability to shape our own experiences. Quantum entanglement also directly connects to the observer effect, where the act of observing a quantum particle directly changes its state, proving that consciousness is an active participant in shaping reality. The observer effect and quantum entanglement become scientific evidence to support the esoteric claim that our consciousness directly impacts the very fabric of reality, creating a direct connection between our inner world and the external experiences we perceive. The holographic nature of reality, combined with the principles of quantum entanglement and the observer effect, demonstrates that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are not confined to your internal world, but have a direct influence on the reality around you. This is not just a philosophical idea, but a scientifically supported truth that reveals the power of your consciousness to shape your experiences. The implications of this understanding are far-reaching, because if reality is indeed holographic, then it means that your consciousness is not limited to your physical body, but is a fundamental aspect of the universe itself, and this places you in a position of immense power and responsibility. This interconnectedness suggests that when you change your consciousness, you directly influence the holographic reality around you, and in this understanding, your journey of inner transformation is not just a personal pursuit, but a contribution to the collective evolution of consciousness. The holographic nature of reality shows that the demiurge's control is built on the illusion of separation, and that by recognizing the interconnectedness of all things, you begin to dismantle this illusion and reclaim your inherent power. Therefore, by understanding the holographic nature of reality, you begin to understand that your power as a creator is far greater than you have been led to believe, as you begin to realize that you are not just a passive observer in a fixed world, but an active participant in a fluid, ever-changing dance of energy and information. This understanding directly leads to the concept of conscious creation, where you use your awareness to shape your experience intentionally. This understanding does not mean that you have to deny the existence of the physical world, but that you must realize it is a holographic projection of your consciousness, empowering you to take responsibility for what you create. By changing your inner world, you are directly changing the holographic projection that surrounds you, and therefore become the master of your own experience. This understanding of reality allows you to move from the role of victim to the role of conscious creator, fully in control of your destiny. However, the demiurge's manipulation is not simply a matter of abstract concepts. It is a very real and tangible force that manifests in your daily life through the promotion of fear, scarcity, and division. Think of how media is used to create a constant stream of anxiety, how political narratives often rely on the fear of the other, how economic systems are built on the idea that there is never enough, and how religious dogma is used to instill a fear of punishment and damnation. These narratives are not accidental, but carefully crafted tools designed to keep you trapped in a state of low vibration and to limit your awareness. These are all components of the system of control, designed to keep you dependent on external structures and to prevent you from realizing your inherent power, and this is what makes the demiurge's influence so insidious. The demiurge doesn't control you with brute force, but through subtle manipulations of your perceptions and your beliefs, working through the fabric of society itself to perpetuate his control, showing you how important it is to be able to think for yourself. The demiurge's manipulation is not just limited to external forces, but it is also present in the internal patterns of thinking and behavior that keep you limited. When you believe that you are not good enough, that you are not worthy of love, or that you are powerless to change your life, you are perpetuating the demiurge's control through your own thoughts and beliefs, and it is through these internal limitations that his influence remains so potent. These internal dialogues are the insidious echo of the demiurge's control, keeping you trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and limitation. The demiurge's control is not just an external system, but also an internal one, working through your own limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors, and therefore, it is essential to understand how his influence functions within you. By recognizing these patterns, you begin to weaken their grip on your life, beginning the process of personal liberation. These patterns of limiting self-perception are part of the system of control, designed to keep you enslaved to the demiurge's vision of who you should be instead of who you are truly capable of becoming. To counter the demiurge's manipulative tactics, you must cultivate critical thinking, media literacy, and a willingness to question authority, which are all essential tools for breaking free from the control matrix. This means that you must not passively accept the narratives that are presented to you, but you must actively analyze them by considering their source, their intent, and their underlying assumptions. Cultivating media literacy means learning to recognize the subtle ways that information is manipulated and how your emotions can be used to influence your beliefs, becoming aware of the psychological strategies that are used to manipulate your behavior. By being willing to question authority, you are not being rebellious, but reclaiming your own inner authority and refusing to blindly follow the dictates of others. These techniques are not just about protecting yourself from external forces, but about reclaiming your own agency and taking control of your own mind, which is a prerequisite for spiritual liberation. By using these tools, you begin to dismantle the demiurge's control system, starting with the way your own mind is structured. Furthermore, you must cultivate self-reliance and autonomy as a means of breaking free from the demiurge's control, recognizing that true freedom comes from within and not from any external authority or structure. This means that you must take full responsibility for your thoughts, emotions, and actions, refusing to rely on others to define your truth or determine your path. This is not a process of isolating yourself from others, but of building a strong inner foundation that cannot be swayed by external forces. When you become self-reliant, you no longer need to seek external validation, and therefore, you become less susceptible to the demiurge's manipulations. This is about learning to trust your own inner guidance and to follow the path that is aligned with your highest potential, a path that goes beyond the structures of limitations that the demiurge attempts to place on you. The journey to liberation is not just about gaining knowledge, but about embodying self-mastery and empowering yourself to be the true creator of your reality. This is a call to recognize that your journey of personal transformation is also a part of a collective movement of awakening, and that by reclaiming your own power, you are contributing to the liberation of humanity from the control of the demiurge. This is not just an individual pursuit, but a collective one, and when you rise, you help others to rise as well, shifting the very fabric of the holographic reality we are all co-creating. By taking responsibility for your own life, you are not only freeing yourself, but helping to create a world that is more aligned with the truth and justice. And this collective vision provides inspiration and motivation for continuing on this journey, knowing that your personal journey is part of something larger than yourself. This is not just about transcending individual limitations, but about creating a more enlightened world for all, a world where truth, love, and freedom are valued above all else, and where the demiurge's control has been broken forever. The next step in this journey is to see how this power that has been revealed can be directly used to manifest your desired reality. This brings us to the understanding of the law of attraction, a practical application of the holographic nature of reality and the power of consciousness, revealing that your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs directly shape your experiences and are not simply abstract concepts. This understanding connects directly to the way we have been talking about reality and moves you from an intellectual understanding of these ideas into a practical application of the creative power you have within you. The law of attraction is not about wishful thinking, but about understanding the energetic nature of reality and how the vibrational frequency of your thoughts and feelings directly impacts the experiences you attract. This understanding is not a new age idea, but a reflection of the underlying principles of reality. And when you start to intentionally work with these principles, your ability to manifest your desires will become greatly enhanced. Your inner world is directly reflected in your external reality, demonstrating the true power that resides within you and your capacity to shape your own experience. To use the law of attraction consciously, you must first learn to align your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with the outcomes you desire, starting by practicing consistent visualization techniques, where you create detailed mental images of the reality you desire, fully experiencing it as if it were already your present reality. You can also use affirmations to reprogram your subconscious mind by consistently repeating positive statements that align with your goals, allowing these new patterns of thought to begin to take root in your mind. By actively cultivating positive emotional states, you will begin to attract experiences that are aligned with your higher self, because like attracts like, and when you are experiencing joy, abundance, and love, that is what you will attract. These techniques are not about forcing things to happen, but about aligning yourself with the vibrational frequency of your desires, creating the inner conditions that allow those desires to naturally manifest, aligning your internal state with the outcomes you want to experience. These practices, when used consistently, become powerful tools for consciously creating your reality and using your power to manifest in a way that goes beyond just material desires. Conscious creation is not limited to just material possessions, but also extends to your state of being, allowing you to manifest health, abundance, happiness, and all of the other wonderful expressions of the human experience. And this moves your focus beyond just the physical world and into creating the inner landscape that aligns with your higher potential. This is about creating a life of purpose and meaning, where you are living in accordance with your highest values and fully expressing the essence of your divine nature. By focusing on your state of being, you begin to transform your experience from the inside out, creating a life of joy, peace, and fulfillment, and empowering yourself to create a reality that is aligned with your true potential. This is not just about getting things that you want, but about becoming the person you are meant to be and embodying your divine essence in all aspects of your life, and thereby creating a reality that reflects the true beauty of your inner world. This is the essence of conscious creation that allows you to not only achieve your goals, but to become the fullest expression of who you truly are. Ultimately, conscious creation is not about you acting as a separate individual trying to impose your will on the universe, but about recognizing your role as a co-creator with the divine, aligning yourself with the source of all creation, and allowing the flow of infinite possibilities to manifest through you. And in this way, your personal desires are aligned with the higher purpose of the universe. You are not just creating your own reality, but participating in a grand cosmic dance of manifestation, where you are both the artist and the art itself, and this places you in a position of immense power. This understanding is not designed to create arrogance or pride, but it inspires humility, reverence, and deep responsibility. By accepting your role as a co-creator, you are stepping into a position of divine authority, understanding that your potential is infinite, and therefore capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. By recognizing your role in the creation process, you are moving beyond the limited idea of being an individual to understanding that you are an essential part of the divine creative process, with the power to shape your destiny. As you integrate higher consciousness into your daily life, you will find that your spiritual journey is not separate from your everyday actions, but is instead an integral part of your experience. This understanding is essential for moving beyond the trap of thinking that spirituality is something that only happens in sacred spaces, but is instead something that is always present and active in every moment. Every interaction, every choice, and every action is an opportunity to express your true nature and to further your spiritual growth, a process that can be done through your relationships, work, and all other experiences in your life. This is not about separating yourself from the world, but instead about engaging with the world consciously and bringing the light of your awareness to all aspects of your experience. When you start to integrate the divine into every part of your life, you begin to move beyond the limitations of duality and into a state of wholeness, and in this state, your path towards self-mastery is accelerated as every part of your life becomes an expression of your inner journey. This long-term vision of your journey emphasizes that breaking free from the demiurge's control is not a single event, but an ongoing process of self-discovery and evolution, where there will be times of ease and times of challenge, and even in those times of difficulty, you can be sure that you are making progress. This journey is not a linear path, but a spiral, where you continually revisit and integrate new levels of awareness and understanding. And as you progress, you will not only be transformed, but you will gain an understanding of the power that you have always possessed. This continuous self-discovery is the very essence of spiritual growth, and should be viewed as an adventure, and not simply an obligation, as each step of the journey will bring you closer to your ultimate goal of complete spiritual freedom. This is a process that is designed to give you a path to self-mastery, a path that will never end, and therefore it is an endless adventure. This journey of liberation is not meant to be a solitary one, as you will find that cultivating compassion, empathy, and love for yourself and others is essential for continuing on the path, and it's through these expressions of your connection to the divine that you will find that the path to liberation is not just an individual pursuit, but a collective one, and that when you rise, you help others to rise as well. By extending compassion to others, you are also extending it to yourself, strengthening the bonds of connection that go beyond the limitations of the illusion of separation. Empathy is a tool that allows you to understand the perspectives of others and helps you to break down the barriers that have kept you separate. The path to freedom is a path of love for yourself and for all of humanity, and this shared experience provides a strong sense of support and validation on this transformative journey. By seeing the divinity in others, you begin to see it in yourself, strengthening your connection to the source of creation and illuminating the path for others. Your journey is not just about escaping the limitations of the demiurge's control, but about awakening your true divine nature and choosing to create the reality you desire, and all of the techniques and concepts we have explored during this documentary are designed to empower you to take control of your life, and finally, live in alignment with your highest potential. You have the power to change your reality, to break free from the limitations that have been imposed upon you, and to embody the very essence of the divine, and this power has been within you from the very beginning. This is not just about having hope for the future, but also about taking action in the present moment, knowing that your potential is limitless and your path is one of unending possibility. This path of self-mastery is one of freedom, empowerment, and infinite potential, and as you begin to take these steps, you are changing not only your own life, but the world around you, and that is where we will pick up in the next section as we explore the practical applications of this understanding and the steps you can take today to step into your full power. The power to shape your reality lies not merely in understanding the holographic nature of existence or the principles of conscious creation, but in the focused application of your will, that intentional direction of your mental and emotional energies, which acts as the very rudder of your soul's journey. This is not wishful thinking, nor a passive hope for a better future, but the conscious and deliberate choice to shape the very fabric of your reality through the focused intention of your will. Just as a sculptor shapes clay into a masterpiece through the application of their focused intention and deliberate movements, so too can you shape your life into a reflection of your highest potential when you apply the full force of your will. Consider the countless stories of individuals who have overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles, not through luck or chance, but through the unwavering application of their focused intention, those seemingly impossible feats of human achievement that are in fact the direct result of a well-directed will that has been cultivated over time. The conscious direction of your will is the very key to unlocking your potential, the method through which you can actively co-create the world you want to experience, and the way that you can move from being a passive observer of the world to a conscious co-creator of its unfolding. To develop and strengthen your will, you must first begin by setting clear goals, those specific, measurable outcomes that are aligned with your highest values and not just with your ego's fleeting desires. This is not about simply wanting something, but about consciously directing your energy towards the creation of a reality that is aligned with your authentic self. Then you must consciously utilize affirmations, those positive statements that reprogram your subconscious mind, aligning your beliefs with your goals, allowing these new patterns of thought and behavior to begin to take root in your consciousness. And further, engage in consistent visualization, a process of creating vivid mental images of your desired outcomes, feeling them as if they are already your current reality, allowing your mental and emotional energies to move you directly into their manifestation. This conscious application of focused intention is a process that becomes stronger over time, allowing you to take control of the direction of your life and to create a reality that is aligned with your true purpose. These are not simply techniques for personal gain, but are the very methods through which you can begin to co-create a more beautiful and enlightened world, using your will to direct your life's journey. The demiurge's control over humanity is in large part based on the weakening of human will, perpetuating a state of dependency and compliance, where people are taught to follow the rules of others and to deny their own ability to shape their lives. This is not an accident, but a deliberate strategy designed to keep you trapped in a state of powerlessness, while he maintains control over the very fabric of your reality. This system profits from your self-doubt, your lack of confidence, and the very notion that you are not capable of creating your own reality, and it is only through reclaiming your will that you can begin to directly challenge his power and step out of the prison of your own limited perceptions. Therefore, the cultivation of your will is not simply a personal choice, but an act of defiance against the controlling forces of the demiurge, a direct challenge to his power, and a means of reclaiming your spiritual sovereignty, allowing you to be the author of your own destiny and no longer a mere character in a story written by another. However, true will must always be aligned with the divine, and not merely with ego-driven desires, and this is a fine but essential distinction that allows you to avoid the traps of superficial desires. Your ego is an important aspect of yourself, but it is also easily manipulated by external influences, and therefore true will transcends the whims of ego and is aligned with a higher purpose that has the benefit of all in mind. Consider the ancient traditions that speak of aligning one's will with the will of the divine, not as a form of blind obedience, but as a conscious act of co-creation, aligning your desires with the very nature of reality. This is not about denying your own individual desires, but of aligning them with a deeper sense of purpose, allowing your will to be guided by the wisdom of the source and not by the manipulations of the demiurge. Therefore, the true application of your will is not just about manifesting personal gains, but about manifesting a reality that is aligned with your highest good and the good of all beings, thereby bridging the gap between personal power and spiritual purpose. The demiurge's system of control doesn't just manifest through the suppression of your will, but it is also cleverly encoded in the symbolic language that permeates our world, a series of hidden codes that subtly manipulate your subconscious mind, keeping you trapped in a state of limited awareness. Like a secret language designed to keep you asleep, these symbols are present in media, advertising, education, and even our very cultural narratives, designed to manipulate your perceptions without you being consciously aware of the influence, and therefore, it becomes essential to learn to decipher these symbols in order to break free from this system of control. These symbolic codes are not just abstract ideas, but are very tangible tools that are used to shape your beliefs, desires, and behaviors, and it is only by understanding their deeper meaning that you can begin to reclaim your own mind and to see the world as it truly is, rather than how the demiurge has designed you to perceive it. To begin to decipher these symbols, you must first cultivate critical thinking, a willingness to question the narratives you are presented, and to dig deeper than the surface level, using your capacity to actively analyze and deconstruct the messages that are constantly being sent your way. Then make the practice of cross-referencing different traditions, connecting various myths, legends, and esoteric teachings, allowing you to see the underlying patterns and common threads that connect these stories, revealing the hidden wisdom that they carry. And most importantly, become a student of esoteric texts, delving into the writings of ancient mystics, philosophers, and spiritual teachers, allowing their wisdom to illuminate the symbolic language that the demiurge uses to maintain control. This process of decipherment is not a passive one, but an active and continuous practice that transforms you into an active participant in the process of finding truth, and an active decoder of the messages that are shaping the very fabric of your reality. This knowledge will empower you to step outside of the control system and to take control of your own perception. The demiurge uses symbolic language in many aspects of your daily life, and it is in becoming aware of these influences that you begin to dismantle their power. Consider how advertising uses symbols to create artificial desires, how media uses symbols to shape political opinions, how educational systems use symbols to enforce conformity, and how cultural narratives use symbols to limit your perceptions of your own potential. These are not accidents, but are deliberately designed tools used to manipulate your subconscious mind without your conscious awareness, and once you begin to perceive these symbols, you will understand that the control system is not abstract, but is present in the very fabric of your day-to-day existence. By learning to recognize and analyze these symbols, you will move from being a passive recipient of information to an active interpreter of reality, allowing you to see the world without the filters that are meant to limit you, and opening your mind to a completely new perspective. Therefore, understanding how to recognize and decode these symbols is not just an intellectual exercise, but an act of rebellion against the demiurge's control, a way of reclaiming your own mind and freeing yourself from the matrix of manipulation. This is not a passive process, but an active choice to see the world differently, a commitment to finding truth, no matter how hidden it may be, and it is through this act of conscious awareness that your path to self-mastery is accelerated. By understanding the nature of the demiurge's symbolic language, you are directly challenging his very method of control and taking a powerful step in the direction of your own spiritual liberation. This active choice demonstrates that knowledge is not just power, but is also the path to freedom. The words that you speak, the sounds that you utter, carry a vibrational power that has the capacity to shape your reality, reflecting the very nature of creation. Words are not just simple descriptors, but are in fact the very building blocks of the reality you experience, and therefore, the conscious use of language is not simply a matter of communication, but a powerful tool for creation. In that way, it becomes essential to understand the true power of the spoken word. Just as a musical note has the power to create resonance and harmony, so too do your words have the power to shape the energetic field around you, and therefore, it becomes essential to use them consciously and deliberately, moving from the unthinking use of language to a mindful engagement with the creative potential of the spoken word. This understanding connects directly back to the holographic nature of reality and the power of consciousness to shape your experiences. The demiurge manipulates this understanding of the power of language and uses it to create limiting beliefs and to reinforce negative patterns, using words to instill fear, self-doubt, and separation, creating the very prison of thought that keeps humanity enslaved. Consider how the language of the media often frames narratives of scarcity and division, how the language of religious dogma instills fear of punishment, and how the language of self-help perpetuates self-criticism. These are not simply accidental patterns of communication, but deliberate strategies designed to keep you in a state of low vibration and to prevent you from recognizing your true potential. These patterns are not just abstract ideas, but are a very real force that keeps you limited and keeps you from recognizing the beauty and potential of the world that surrounds you. This manipulation demonstrates that the power of language can be used to both create and to destroy, and it is therefore your responsibility to understand the power you hold in your own words. However, you have the power to counteract this manipulation by using language consciously and deliberately to create positive outcomes, and you can begin by using positive affirmations, those specific statements of intent that align with your highest potential, and that can begin to reprogram your mind from the inside out. Practice positive self-talk, treating yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you would offer to a friend, creating an inner environment of self-acceptance and love. And most importantly, speak with intention, choosing your words carefully, understanding that they carry the power to shape your reality. These are not simply exercises in optimism, but deliberate methods for creating a positive energetic field around you and shaping your reality to align with your goals, your values, and your highest good, moving you into a place of conscious control and powerful manifestation. Through this deliberate application of your words, you will find that you can reshape your internal landscape and thereby change your external reality. Ultimately, mastering the spoken word is not just about personal power, but is an opportunity to align with the divine creative force itself, recognizing that your words carry the same creative power that brought the universe into being. When you speak with intention, you are not simply expressing your individual will, but you are tapping into the universal source of creation and acting as a conscious co-creator of the reality you experience. Therefore, the power of your words is far greater than you might realize, and the more that you learn to use them consciously, the more your life will begin to reflect the power that you possess within. This conscious use of language transforms you into an active co-creator of your own reality, and not just a passive recipient of the world around you, allowing your words to become the very tools of creation. Sacred geometry reveals the very underlying patterns of creation, a universal language expressed through geometric forms that permeate all of nature and the cosmos, from the spiral of a seashell to the pattern of galaxies. These patterns are not random, but are instead expressions of fundamental principles that govern the very fabric of existence, reflecting the interconnectedness of all things and the underlying order of the universe. By understanding these geometric forms, you are not just learning about shapes, but you are gaining access to the underlying patterns of creation, the very blueprint of reality, allowing you to perceive the world with a deeper level of understanding. These patterns are the very language of the divine, and by understanding them, you begin to see the interconnectedness of all things and the unifying principles of creation. This knowledge is not just an intellectual pursuit, but a path to understanding the nature of reality and the role that you play as a conscious creator. The demiurge, however, manipulates these sacred patterns to create the illusion of separation and control, distorting these geometric forms in ways that reinforce his matrix of limited awareness, and keeping you from understanding the deeper interconnectedness of all things. Consider how the golden ratio, a fundamental principle of creation, has been distorted and misused to create systems of inequality and control. How mandalas, ancient geometric patterns representing the cosmos, have been reduced to mere decorations, and how these powerful symbols have been stripped of their true meaning, keeping you from recognizing the very secrets they hold. These manipulations are not random accidents, but deliberate acts designed to keep you limited and separated from the full understanding of your connection to the source, and therefore it becomes essential to learn to see beyond the distortion and to understand the true meaning that is hidden beneath the surface of the manipulated forms. You can begin to use sacred geometry as a means of connecting with higher consciousness by meditating on these geometric forms, allowing their shapes and patterns to resonate with your own inner world, opening yourself to the wisdom and energy that they hold. Use these symbols in your personal rituals, intentionally arranging objects in patterns that align with the principles of sacred geometry, creating a sacred space that is aligned with your spiritual intentions. And finally, engage with the world around you, looking for examples of these patterns in nature, art, and architecture, allowing your understanding of sacred geometry to become a way of perceiving the world with new eyes. This practice of observing and engaging with these patterns is a direct method of connecting with the very creative force of the universe, allowing you to see the world as an expression of the divine order and expanding your awareness to new levels of understanding. Therefore, when you study sacred geometry, you begin to understand the natural flow of the universe, and you begin to break free from the limitations of the demiurge's controlling system. This understanding is not just theoretical, but is a practical tool that enables you to connect with higher states of consciousness, to deepen your understanding of reality, and to create a life that is aligned with your true purpose. This knowledge is not meant to be kept secret, but should be shared with all who are willing to learn, creating a collective awakening that will ultimately dismantle the demiurge's control system and bring about a new age of enlightenment. By understanding sacred geometry, you are not just understanding shapes, but you are understanding the very essence of creation and your own role within it. Individual liberation is not separate from collective awakening, but rather is deeply interconnected, recognizing that we are all part of a single consciousness, and that by helping others awaken, you are also contributing to your own growth and liberation. Just as a single drop of water ripples through an entire pond, so too does your own journey of self-mastery have a profound effect on the collective consciousness. This understanding is essential for moving beyond the limited idea of individuality and into the powerful awareness of interconnectedness, a recognition that we are all part of a larger whole. This is not simply a philosophical concept, but an essential truth that is recognized by mystics and spiritual teachers from all traditions, reinforcing the very need for collective transformation as we are all connected. The journey of liberation, therefore, is not a solitary one, but is a collective undertaking, a movement towards a new level of human potential. The power of community is in the creation of supportive environments where people can share their experiences, learn from one another, and empower each other on their spiritual journeys, and these are the very spaces where the process of collective awakening is accelerated. These communities provide a space for authentic connection, where you can express your true self without fear of judgment, where you are supported and encouraged by others who are also on the path, and where you are challenged to grow, to learn, and to become your highest potential. This path is not meant to be solitary, but is in fact designed to be a shared experience of growth and transformation, and the relationships that you form along the way are an essential part of the journey. These connections are not just for personal gain, but are designed to assist all of humanity in their journey to enlightenment. Collective action becomes a necessary component of breaking free from the demiurge's control, transforming social structures and creating a more just and equitable world. This requires more than simply individual awareness, but requires a deliberate choice to create a world that is aligned with the principles of truth, justice, and compassion. This means challenging systems of oppression, inequality, and exploitation, and working to create institutions that promote well-being and freedom for all people. This is not just about fighting against the demiurge, but about actively creating a new paradigm, a world that is based on love, respect, and mutual understanding, and not one of control and limitation. This collective vision is not just for the future, but should begin in the very present moment, creating the conditions for a better world through your actions today. By working together, you have the power to create a collective wave of transformation that will eventually dismantle the demiurge's control system and create a new paradigm of freedom and empowerment for all, recognizing that you are not just individuals, but powerful agents of change who can shift the very direction of human history. This is not just a distant hope, but a very real possibility that will come into being when you embrace your power, your purpose, and your connection to the divine source of all creation. By understanding the interconnectedness of all things, you begin to recognize that your actions matter, and that even the smallest act of kindness or courage can have a profound impact on the collective consciousness. By working together, you become a force that is far greater than the sum of its parts, and capable of creating a more beautiful and enlightened world. This understanding, and the power it brings, can be used to create a world of freedom, compassion, and limitless potential. Yahweh, as you have been taught, is not the ultimate creator of all things, but is a complex being within a larger cosmic structure, a revelation that challenges your conventional understanding of divinity, and therefore invites a more expansive and empowering view of reality. This knowledge is not meant to instill fear or doubt, but to inspire a deeper understanding, a critical awareness that encourages you to explore the mysteries of existence with open eyes and a willingness to find the truth for yourself. The knowledge that you have gained on this journey has been designed to empower you to step out of the limited paradigms that have been imposed upon you, and to embrace a new vision of your own divine potential, allowing you to become the true master of your own experience. This is not just a new idea, but a call to action to break free from the limitations that have been keeping you from living a life that is aligned with your highest purpose. Therefore, the principles, practices, and perspectives that have been discussed throughout this documentary are not meant to be mere intellectual concepts, but are powerful tools for personal transformation, designed to empower you to actively engage in your own journey of self-mastery. By applying the understanding of focused intention, you can consciously shape your reality with greater clarity. By deciphering the demiurge's symbolic language, you can recognize the hidden codes that have limited you. By harnessing the power of the spoken word, you can speak your truth with intention. And by utilizing sacred geometry, you can connect with the divine patterns of creation. This knowledge is not meant to be kept secret, but is a call to action that is designed to transform not just your life, but the world at large, creating a new paradigm of freedom and enlightenment. The very tools that have kept you trapped can now be used to set you free. The choice to break free from the demiurge's control is not a passive acceptance of new ideas, but a conscious decision to align with the divine creative force that resides within you, an act of reclaiming your own inherent power and spiritual sovereignty. This is not a choice that is forced upon you, but an invitation to step into the role of a conscious co-creator of your own reality and to fully embody your divine potential. When you choose to break free from the limitations that have been imposed upon you, you are not just changing your own life, but you are contributing to the collective awakening of humanity and setting the stage for a new era of peace, prosperity, and understanding. This decision is a powerful statement that your life matters and that you are not just a pawn in a game of control, but a powerful force for positive change. Therefore, the journey ahead is not one of fear or uncertainty, but of hope and empowerment, knowing that you have the power to shape your own reality, to live a life of purpose and meaning, and to contribute to the creation of a more beautiful and enlightened world. This is not just a wish, but a possibility that is within your reach, and by taking the steps that have been outlined on this journey, you will not only transform your life, but you will contribute to the liberation of humanity. Your potential is limitless, your path is illuminated, and the choice is now yours. What will you do? The journey of self-mastery is not limited to intellectual understanding or philosophical contemplation, but is a direct path of experiential transformation, and the advanced meditation techniques you can employ are the very keys to unlocking the doors of perception that have been closed by the demiurge's controlling system. These are not just methods for relaxation or stress reduction, but powerful tools for accessing the deeper levels of consciousness, those realms beyond the reach of the demiurge that allow you to experience the divine directly. Practices such as mantra meditation, where specific sounds and vibrations are used to focus the mind and alter the state of consciousness, third eye activation, which awakens the intuitive centers of perception and inner vision, and Kundalini awakening, which unleashes the latent energy that resides within the base of the spine, are each pathways to profound shifts in perception and expanded awareness. These techniques are not simply exercises, but are powerful alchemical processes that transmute the limitations of your mind and body and bring you into direct contact with the divine creative force that resides within you. They are the direct method of remembering that you are not just a physical being, but that you are in fact a divine expression. Through consistent practice, these advanced techniques allow you to move beyond the superficial layers of your awareness, accessing the depths of your consciousness, that part of you which the demiurge has attempted to keep hidden from you. This process isn't about simply achieving altered states of consciousness, but is about gaining direct and personal experience of the divine, not through the intermediary of dogma or belief, but through your own direct interaction with the source. This is the very gnosis that has been discussed, the process of coming into awareness through direct experience of the divine, the understanding that transcends mere intellectual comprehension and becomes a deeply ingrained part of your being. This direct experience is what truly breaks you free, allowing you to move beyond the limitations of external authority and into the power of your own inner knowing. Therefore, the path of liberation is not through blind faith, but is a path of personal exploration and direct communion with the divine, and this path is always available to you. To safely and effectively implement these practices, it's crucial to begin with a clear intention and a consistent dedication to your own growth and development, always using caution and reverence. Begin with guided meditations that introduce you to the basic techniques and slowly progress to more advanced practices as you grow in skill, confidence, and discernment, always making sure that you are feeling a strong sense of personal alignment with the practice. Develop a personal meditative ritual using candles, incense, or other sacred objects that resonate with your own personal connection to the divine, creating a space that will support your journey inward and a sacred space that helps you remember the very divinity that you hold. And finally, always seek guidance from experienced teachers and mentors who can help you navigate the deeper levels of practice, always making sure that you are moving in alignment with your highest good. These practices are not meant to be approached casually, but with the deepest respect and intention, allowing you to tap into the full power of your potential. These experiences of divine connection, therefore, are not reserved for a select few, but are available to anyone who is willing to put in the necessary effort and to dedicate themselves to the path of self-discovery, always remembering that you are already divine. These practices are simply tools for remembering your true potential and for reconnecting with the source of your being, moving you from a state of dependency on external authority to a state of empowerment and self-mastery. The power of the divine is not outside of you, but resides within you, waiting to be awakened through the conscious application of your will and the exploration of your own inner world. These methods of meditation are not simply paths to enlightenment, but are the path to remembering your true identity, to recognizing the divine power that is your true inheritance. The demiurge's control doesn't just manifest in the suppression of your inner knowing, but is also subtly reinforced through the very concept of linear time, the framework that keeps you trapped in a cycle of past, present, and future, and therefore keeps you from fully accessing your power in the present moment. Linear time is not a natural phenomenon, but is a construct, a carefully crafted illusion designed to keep you bound to the limitations of the material world and to prevent you from experiencing the timeless nature of your own being. This construct creates a false sense of scarcity, limitation, and impermanence, keeping you constantly chasing the future while simultaneously being haunted by the ghosts of the past. This is not the true nature of existence, but a perception that has been deliberately designed to keep you trapped and to limit your potential. By breaking free from linear thinking, you can access a greater awareness and the very power of the present moment. The methods of breaking free from the constraints of linear time begin with the practice of mindfulness, the conscious awareness of the present moment, without judgment, allowing you to anchor your awareness in the here and now, rather than being swept away by the endless flow of thoughts about the past or the future. Engage in activities that bring you fully into the present, such as meditation, conscious breathing, and movement practices, allowing your awareness to come into alignment with your direct experience and to transcend the illusions of linear time. Spend time in nature, where the rhythm of life is cyclical rather than linear, and where you can experience the timeless quality of existence, reminding yourself that you are not just a part of the past or future, but a timeless being. These are not just techniques for stress reduction, but are methods of reconnecting with the timeless nature of your being and a pathway to stepping out of the limitations of time itself. The demiurge also perpetuates the illusion of cause and effect, emphasizing the past, the present, and the future, trapping you in cycles of karma and rebirth, keeping you focused on linear timelines rather than on the power of the present moment. This system of cause and effect keeps you bound to the wheel of suffering, always seeking to atone for the past or to create a better future, and thereby preventing you from fully embracing the liberation that is available in the very now. This is not to say that your actions don't matter, but that your focus on the linear progression of time limits your experience of the present and reinforces the illusion of separation from the source, keeping you in cycles of limited awareness and preventing you from accessing the full power of the present. Therefore, it is crucial to break free from the illusion of cause and effect, to step into the fullness of your own power and to claim your divine potential. However, by becoming aware of the illusion of linear time, you can access greater freedom and tap into the infinite potential of the present moment, stepping out of the demiurge's controlling system and into the power of conscious creation. This understanding is not just theoretical, but is a practical tool for transforming your experience of reality, allowing you to create new possibilities and to move beyond the limitations of the past and the expectations of the future. When you break free from linear time, you step into the timelessness of the now, where infinite possibilities exist, and where you have the power to consciously create your own reality. Therefore, the conscious recognition of the illusion of linear time is a direct pathway to personal freedom and a means of breaking the chains of limitation. The reclaiming of your imagination is a direct rebellion against the demiurge's control and a powerful tool for shaping your reality, understanding that your imagination is not just a source of entertainment, but the very gateway to infinite possibilities and the very force that shapes the world around you. Your imagination is not a passive faculty, but is in fact an active and dynamic tool that you can use to consciously create your desired outcomes and to manifest a reality that aligns with your highest potential. This is not just wishful thinking, but is a powerful method for engaging with the holographic nature of reality, understanding that your inner world has a direct impact on the world you experience. When you use your imagination consciously, you are not just dreaming, but you are actively creating the very reality that will become your experience. The power of visualization is deeply connected to quantum physics and the holographic nature of reality, as your thoughts and images are not just abstract ideas, but are powerful energies that shape the very fabric of existence and directly influence the reality you experience. Just as a blueprint guides the construction of a building, so too do your visualizations guide the manifestation of your reality, and therefore, the more clearly you can see and feel your desired outcome, the more powerful that manifestation will become. Consider the athletes who visualize themselves succeeding before a competition, the artists who see their creations in their mind's eye before they are brought into reality, and the entrepreneurs who imagine their success before they have even begun. These are not just examples of positive thinking, but are demonstrations of the very power of the imagination to shape reality. These visualizations work with the quantum field to bring your desires into existence. To effectively use visualization, you must create vivid mental images of your desired outcomes, using all of your senses, feeling the emotions associated with those outcomes, and creating a sensory-rich experience that programs your subconscious mind with the very blueprint of your desires. Then you must consistently engage in these visualizations, reinforcing the mental patterns that will lead to their manifestation, and you must believe in your ability to bring these visualizations into reality, knowing that you are a powerful co-creator of your own experience. These techniques are not just exercises in positive thinking, but are active methods of engaging with the creative power of your consciousness and a direct path to manifesting your desires into a tangible reality. Therefore, the power of visualization is one of the most potent tools you have to shape your own life. The demiurge actively suppresses this power of imagination by reinforcing limiting beliefs and negative thought patterns, encouraging you to focus on external realities rather than your own internal power, keeping you trapped in a cycle of powerlessness and dependence and unable to access the very core of your creative abilities. This system promotes a mindset of limitation, making you believe that you are not capable of creating the life you want, and keeping you from engaging with the very wellspring of your creative abilities. However, by reclaiming your imagination, you are directly challenging this system, stepping out of the prison of limitation and into the unlimited possibilities of conscious creation. Therefore, your imagination is your greatest ally and a key to your freedom. Your imagination is the gateway to infinite possibilities, and by using it consciously, you become a co-creator of your own reality, aligning your creative power with the divine force that flows through you and stepping into your divine potential. This understanding is not just theoretical, but is a practical tool for creating a life of purpose, joy, and abundance, moving you beyond the limitations of the demiurge's control system and into a reality where all things are possible. The true power lies not just in what you can physically do, but in what you can imagine, and this is a power that will set you free from any limitation. When you embrace your imagination, you are embracing the divine power that is your true inheritance, and that allows you to shape the very world you experience. Karma, as it is commonly understood, is a system of reward and punishment based on past actions, a cycle of cause and effect that keeps you trapped in endless patterns of suffering. But this is just another way that the demiurge keeps you under his control. In its deeper esoteric interpretation, karma is not a fixed system, but a complex interplay of energies and choices that you have the power to disrupt. It is a pattern that you are creating, and therefore, you have the power to change. This is not to deny the principle of cause and effect, but to understand it within the larger context of your spiritual evolution, seeing that your choices create patterns, and that with conscious awareness, you can change the patterns that you are creating. Karma is not a preordained destiny, but a dynamic process that is always in flux, and therefore, you always have the power to change your trajectory. The demiurge uses the concept of karma to keep you trapped in cycles of guilt and limitation, making you feel that you must atone for your past mistakes, rather than to learn from them, and making you believe that your suffering is a just punishment for previous actions. This cycle keeps you focused on the past and prevents you from fully engaging with the potential of the present moment, creating a sense of powerlessness and reinforcing the control system. This understanding of karma keeps you trapped in a never-ending wheel of suffering, constantly trying to pay back karmic debts and creating more instead of stepping out of the karmic wheel through understanding and conscious choice. The demiurge's system wants you to believe that you are not worthy of freedom and that you must suffer to earn it, but this simply isn't true. To disrupt these cycles of karma, begin with the practice of self-forgiveness, releasing the guilt and shame that keep you bound to the past, knowing that your mistakes are not signs of your inherent unworthiness, but are opportunities for growth and learning. Then consciously choose your actions in alignment with your highest values, creating new patterns of behavior that break free from the old karmic chains. And most importantly, focus on aligning with your divine purpose, knowing that your soul's intention transcends the limitations of the past and will lead you to the highest levels of growth and personal transformation. These methods are not just about avoiding negative consequences, but are about creating a future that is aligned with your deepest values and your soul's true calling, and this shift will break you free from karmic limitations. When you understand the true nature of karma, you can begin to break free from the demiurge's control system, becoming a conscious creator of your own destiny and no longer a passive victim of your past actions, stepping out of the wheel of karma and into the freedom of conscious creation. This understanding is not just theoretical, but a practical tool for transforming your life by giving you the power to shape your future and to transcend the limitations of the past. Your karmic journey is in your own hands, and you can choose to step out of the cycles of suffering and into a life of joy, freedom, and purpose. Through this awareness, you can move beyond the patterns that have kept you trapped and to choose to create the reality you truly desire. The concept of the soul as a separate entity is yet another illusion created by the demiurge to keep you from realizing your true nature, which is not separate from the divine source, but is in fact an expression of it, the very spark of the divine that dwells within you. The demiurge has intentionally created a limited perception of your nature, making you feel incomplete, flawed, and separate from the very source of all being, and this manipulation keeps you in a state of dependence, constantly seeking external validation and unable to recognize the limitless potential that resides within you. You are not a limited individual, but an unlimited expression of the divine, and when you truly recognize this, you can step out of the prison of separation and into the fullness of your own divine power. You are already whole and already complete, and you need only remember that truth. The demiurge keeps you from realizing your connection to the source by perpetuating the belief in separation, making you think that you are not worthy, that you are inherently flawed, and that you are incomplete, when in fact you are a piece of the divine experiencing itself through your unique perspective. This is the greatest trick, making you believe that you need something outside of yourself, when the truth is, you are all that you have ever needed and always have been. By breaking free from this illusion of separation, you can reconnect with your divine essence and recognize that you are an integral part of the whole and that the very power of creation flows through you. This recognition allows you to step into your full potential and to live your life as a divine expression of the source. The limitations that you experience are simply part of the illusion, and they are not who you truly are. To reconnect with the divine essence within you, you must first engage in deep meditation and inner inquiry, turning your attention away from the external world and focusing on the truth that lies within, remembering that the source is always available. You need only to connect with it. Then you must consciously choose your intention, aligning your actions with your highest values and the calling of your soul, knowing that your life is an expression of your own divine intention. And finally, you must cultivate self-love, recognizing that you are a unique and irreplaceable expression of the divine, and that your journey is a sacred experience, and one that you should always approach with joy and reverence. These practices are not just abstract ideas, but are methods of remembering who you truly are and tapping into the very source of your being. These practices will help you align with your true nature. When you fully realize your true nature as a divine being, you break free from the demiurge's control, stepping into your full power as a conscious creator of your own reality, understanding that you have the ability to change anything that does not align with your highest good. This realization allows you to move beyond the limitations that have kept you trapped and to live a life of purpose, joy, and limitless potential, understanding that your destiny is not something to be endured, but to be consciously created. Therefore, the most important choice that you can make is the choice to remember who you are, a divine being with unlimited potential, and it is this understanding that will set you free. You are powerful beyond measure, and the time to claim that power is now. The demiurge's control is not merely a personal struggle occurring within the confines of your own mind, but is a vast, systemic web that extends into the very fabric of society itself, operating through carefully constructed social structures and institutions, a complex external matrix that mirrors and reinforces the internal limitations that he seeks to impose. It is not enough to simply become aware of the inner workings of your own mind, but you must also become aware of the subtle ways in which governments, corporations, the media, and the educational systems are all working to maintain control and to limit individual autonomy and spiritual growth. This control system is a carefully crafted prison of the mind, using your own ignorance as its bars, and its walls are built with the materials of your own unconscious consent. Like the concept of Maya, the illusory nature of reality, this system presents itself as real and immutable, when it is in fact a carefully designed construct that keeps you trapped in a cycle of dependence and limitation. This is not just a theoretical concept, but a practical understanding of the forces that seek to keep humanity under their power. These seemingly disparate systems are, in reality, all interconnected, designed to promote fear, division, competition, and consumerism, all of which reinforce the demiurge's control by keeping you in a state of low vibrational frequency and disconnected from your true selves. Governments often operate through fear-based tactics, creating enemies, both real and imagined, and limiting the freedoms of their citizens in the name of security, while corporations relentlessly promote consumerism, creating a false sense of need and insatiable desire, keeping you constantly chasing after fleeting material gains and always feeling that something is missing. And always in a state of lack. The media manipulates narratives and perceptions, controlling the flow of information and reinforcing the dominant paradigm, creating a world of constant distraction and preventing you from engaging in deeper reflection and therefore self-discovery. The education system, designed to standardize and indoctrinate rather than cultivate creativity, critical thinking, and self-awareness, promotes a system of conformity that is directly opposed to the path of spiritual awakening. Each of these systems works in harmony to keep you in a state of spiritual amnesia and dependency, reinforcing the illusion of separation and keeping you from recognizing your divine potential. By recognizing the manipulative tactics of these systems, you can begin to reclaim your autonomy and create a more just and equitable world, aware that this is not just an internal journey, but a collective one, and that individual liberation leads to collective liberation. This awareness is the key to freedom, to seeing through the carefully crafted illusions and recognizing the system for what it truly is, a prison designed to keep you trapped in cycles of limitation and control, a prison that you have the power to dismantle. This is not a call to anarchy or chaos, but a call to conscious action, a call to creating a new paradigm based on personal responsibility and the knowledge of your divine potential, framing resistance not as a destructive force, but as a conscious and necessary act of liberation, an act of choosing to no longer participate in the illusion. It's a call to build supportive communities and to work together to dismantle the old systems and create new ones based on collective empowerment, understanding that you are not alone in this journey, but that you are part of a growing movement that seeks to create a better world for all. This is not just about individual escape, but about building a new foundation for human civilization based on the principles of freedom and empowerment, and this requires a collective effort. The illusion of separation is one of the most powerful tools used by the demiurge, and this illusion keeps you disconnected from your true nature and from each other, reinforcing the belief that you are an isolated individual rather than a part of a unified whole. This perception is the root of most suffering, the source of conflict, competition, and the general feeling of alienation that has become so prevalent in the modern world. This illusion of separation is a key component of the prison itself, and it is this illusion that the demiurge most seeks to maintain, aware that as long as you perceive yourselves as individuals, he can control you by keeping you from recognizing your true interconnectedness. You are taught from a young age to see yourselves as separate entities, competing for limited resources, striving for individual success, and ignoring the fact that you are all connected and all part of the same source. This is not a natural phenomenon, but an intentional construct designed to keep you in a state of limitation. You are not isolated individuals, but interconnected parts of a single consciousness, and by realizing this truth, you can begin to dismantle the demiurge's control, a system that relies entirely on keeping you divided, and therefore under its control. The holographic nature of reality demonstrates that you are all reflections of a single source, each of you a unique expression of the one consciousness, and yet you are all connected. Understanding this interconnectedness leads to compassion, empathy, and the desire to help others, recognizing that their suffering is also your suffering, and their joy is also your joy, knowing that you are all part of the same dance. Therefore, the recognition of your unity with all beings is a powerful catalyst for change, and a means of breaking down the barriers that the demiurge has erected, and instead, building bridges of connection and understanding. You must move from separation to unity to fully unlock your potential. To cultivate a sense of unity, begin with practices such as acts of kindness and compassion, consciously choosing to see the humanity in others, even those who you may perceive as different from yourself. Focus on your shared experiences and common aspirations rather than on the superficial differences that have been used to create division, actively making the choice to dissolve the illusion of separation through consciously choosing to see your shared humanity. These practices are not just for spiritual growth, but are also practical tools for creating a more harmonious world, and actively working to break down the barriers that have kept humanity divided for so long, building bridges of understanding and connection instead of walls of separation. By focusing on the common humanity that connects you all, you are creating a direct pathway to greater freedom for all. These seemingly small acts have a ripple effect, creating a wave of change that can transform the entire world. Understanding your interconnectedness is not just a philosophical concept, but a powerful key to creating a collective wave of transformation, a force that can fundamentally change the planet and bring the demiurge's system of control to an end. Every individual act of kindness and compassion has a profound effect on the whole, as each choice you make ripples through the interconnected web of consciousness and contributes to the overall trajectory of the collective. Your individual journey is therefore not separate from the collective, but is an integral part of it. Every step you take forward also moves humanity forward, as you are all part of the same whole. The liberation that you seek is also a part of the liberation of all beings. By recognizing your interconnectedness, you can tap into a collective power that is far greater than any individual force. And this is the key to creating the change that you want to see in the world, using the knowledge of your interconnectedness to build a more unified and harmonious reality. Forgiveness, both of yourself and others, is another crucial step in breaking free from the demiurge's control, and this is because holding onto resentment and anger reinforces the very systems that limit you, keeping you trapped in cycles of pain and suffering. Unresolved anger and resentment are energetic anchors that keep you bound to the past and to the patterns of limitation that you are seeking to transcend, like a heavy weight that keeps you from rising into your full potential. By choosing forgiveness, you are cutting ties with those limiting forces, releasing the burdens that have kept you trapped, and opening yourself up to the possibility of creating a new future, one that is free from the wounds of the past. Therefore, forgiveness is not just an act of kindness towards others, but a profound act of self-liberation, the action of consciously choosing to move into a higher frequency of experience. This understanding of the power of forgiveness is a powerful step on the journey towards freedom. The demiurge uses guilt and self-blame to keep you in a state of low vibration and dependence, making you feel unworthy and incapable of claiming your own power, when in fact you are inherently divine. By choosing self-forgiveness, you neutralize these manipulative tactics, and you step onto the path of empowerment, releasing the negative programming that keeps you from recognizing your true potential. Self-blame is another form of ego, a trick of the mind that keeps you focused on your perceived inadequacies, instead of allowing you to recognize your inherent divinity, preventing you from true spiritual growth. As long as you are trapped in this negative cycle of judgment, you must move beyond the limiting perspectives of your own mind to truly begin to see the truth of your being. To recognize and challenge the voice of inner self-criticism, begin by becoming aware of the negative thought patterns, observing them without judgment, and choosing to replace them with thoughts of self-compassion and understanding. These practices of self-compassion allow you to move into greater freedom. Compassion is another powerful tool for connecting with your true nature and with others, and by extending compassion to those who have harmed you, you are breaking free from the cycle of victimhood, stepping into the role of conscious creator of your own reality, instead of being a passive participant in the old patterns of limitation. Compassion is not just an emotion, but an active force that can transform your relationships and your inner world and ultimately your entire reality, healing the wounds of the past and creating the possibility of a more positive future. This is because compassion towards others is also self-compassion, that when you are able to extend compassion to those who have harmed you, you are also healing your own wounds. This breaks the cycles of victimhood and puts you in the seat of the Creator. By choosing compassion, you are choosing freedom. Forgiveness and compassion are not signs of weakness, but are powerful acts of liberation, actions that transform not only your relationships and your inner world, but ultimately the world around you, aware that personal healing is deeply connected to global transformation, and that by forgiving, you are healing not only yourself, but also the world around you, acting as a catalyst for positive change. These powerful acts of self-liberation create a ripple effect that transforms the world, creating a greater movement towards freedom. Each act of compassion acts as a spark that ignites the hearts of others and creates a growing movement of freedom and understanding. These actions are not just about individual liberation, but about creating a more just and equitable world. By choosing forgiveness and compassion, you are creating the conditions for a more harmonious and enlightened reality for all beings. Your physical body, as it stands now, is only a small part of your full potential, and within you lies a vast energetic form that can be activated through specific spiritual practices. This is known as your light body, the gateway to accessing deeper levels of awareness and higher dimensions of experience. Activating this light body opens the doors to expanded awareness and increased power. When you activate your light body, you move beyond the limitations of the material world and access the subtle energies that govern the very fabric of existence, understanding that your physical body is simply a vessel for your divine consciousness, and therefore, there is much more to you than meets the eye. The activation of the light body is a powerful step on the path to self-mastery and a key to unlocking your full potential, using the understanding of quantum physics to see that all things are interconnected and multidimensional. Specific practices for activating the light body include breathwork, meditation, and visualizations, all techniques that are designed to raise your vibrational frequency, connect you with your higher self, and break free from the demiurge's control, using ancient practices to access deeper states of awareness. Through these practices, you align your energy with the higher dimensions, and therefore transcend the limitations that have been imposed upon you by the material world. These practices are the path to remembering your true nature, and therefore to experiencing the freedom that is your true inheritance. By consistent practice of these ancient arts, you will begin to awaken your light body and step into your greater potential. Breathwork techniques, such as those practiced by ancient yogis and mystics, allow you to directly influence the flow of energy through your body, clearing blockages and activating higher states of consciousness, while meditation practices allow you to quiet the mind, connect with your inner wisdom, and access the realms beyond the material world. And creative visualization techniques allow you to program your subconscious mind with the blueprint for your desired future. These practices are tools for personal alchemy, allowing you to transform your consciousness and to step into your full potential. When you activate your light body, you access greater creativity, intuition, and healing abilities that are often suppressed or lay dormant within you, and these abilities are unleashed when you consciously choose to connect with your true nature, recognizing that this is a path of self-mastery and not external worship, and that you all have the capacity to access higher states of awareness and to manifest extraordinary potential, as demonstrated by spiritual masters and mystics from different traditions who have dedicated themselves to the path of self-discovery. The activation of your light body is therefore a journey of empowerment, a journey of awakening to the infinite potential that lies within you, and the recognition that your abilities are not limited by external circumstances, but only by your own self-perception. This is the path of becoming your own master, not relying on external forces, but recognizing your own divine power. The activation of the light body is not just about personal evolution, but about becoming a more potent force for positive change on the planet, understanding that individual transformation is a necessary step in the collective transformation of humanity, and that your individual journey is also a part of a larger collective one. By activating your light body, you are not just benefiting yourself, but also contributing to the overall awakening of human consciousness, becoming a catalyst for positive change in the world, and recognizing that each individual act of self-mastery has a ripple effect on the whole. This is because by raising your vibration, you raise the vibration of the entire planet, creating a movement of positive change. This path is not just about individual enlightenment, but about collective evolution, and this ultimate expression of personal power is essential to creating the new world. Aligning with your divine purpose is key to breaking free from the demiurge's control, and for creating a more fulfilling life, understanding that you are all born with a unique potential to express your divine nature, and that by aligning with this potential, you find true meaning, purpose, and liberation. It is not enough to simply exist, but to express the unique gift that you bring into the world. This understanding is essential for claiming your birthright. The demiurge seeks to suppress this potential by encouraging you to conform to external standards, rather than expressing your own unique essence. But by choosing to live authentically, you break free from this control and step into your divine purpose. This is not about finding a predetermined path, but about discovering the unique expression of your soul. To discover your divine purpose, begin by engaging in deep introspection and meditation, asking yourself deep questions about your true desires, your passions, and your unique gifts, allowing yourself to connect with your inner guidance and to begin to clarify your path. Your purpose is not something to find, but something to create through your authentic expression. It is not a static destination, but a journey of constant growth, exploration, and evolution, understanding that your life is a canvas and that your purpose is to express your unique vision. The demiurge's system actively discourages authenticity and promotes conformity, keeping you trapped in roles and identities that are not your own. But by choosing to live authentically, you are resisting this control and reclaiming your unique expression of divine potential and stepping into the power of your true self. You are not meant to be a copy, you are meant to be the original that you were born to be. The demiurge's system wants you to fit into a predefined box, to conform to societal expectations, and to follow a predetermined path. But by choosing to live authentically, you are rebelling against this control, choosing to express your unique gifts and to live a life that is aligned with your true purpose. This rebellion is not a destructive act, but a creative one, a choice to become the person you were always meant to be. You are meant to live with purpose, joy, and abundance, and not the limitations of the demiurge. To recognize and dismantle the roles and identities that are imposed upon you, begin by observing your thoughts and behaviors, and asking yourself whether they are truly aligned with your authentic self, and then make the conscious choice to choose the behaviors that are more aligned with your soul, rather than those that are merely imposed upon you by external forces. By living authentically and aligning with your divine purpose, you become a more powerful force for positive change in the world, recognizing that true freedom comes from expressing your true nature, not conforming to external expectations or limitations. stepping into the power that you hold within you and using it to create a better world for all. Your journey is not just about yourself, but about the collective. Your liberation creates the conditions for the liberation of all beings, and each step you take in alignment with your purpose inspires others to do the same. This understanding of personal power is the most important ingredient in the recipe for true freedom, understanding that freedom is not given, but taken. It is not about escaping the world, but about transforming it. Therefore, the journey of self-discovery is not about escaping the world, but about transforming it, understanding that true freedom comes from understanding your true nature, and then expressing it fully, aware that understanding is the key to liberation, and that you are not escaping the world, but changing it by changing yourself. This has been the message of every great spiritual teacher. You have come to the world to express your divinity and to be an active participant in the co-creation of a more beautiful future, and through the understanding of your true nature, you become a powerful force for positive change. This path is not about escapism, but about empowerment. You are the creators of your own reality, and by taking responsibility for your thoughts, actions, and beliefs, you can break free from all limitations, stepping out of victim consciousness and into the role of conscious creator, aware that the power to shape your destiny resides within you and not in external forces, understanding that you are not a passive recipient of fate, but an active co-creator of your own experience. This puts you in the position of the master of your own life and the author of your own story, no longer bound by limitations, but empowered by the recognition of your own divinity. The truth is that you have always had this power, you simply forgot. You are not victims of circumstances, but co-creators of your own destiny, all possessing the potential to live a life of freedom, purpose, and joy, and therefore, it is your responsibility to claim that power, and to create the world you desire, understanding that you are not waiting for something to happen, but you are the ones that will make it happen. Using the previously stated information as a pathway for positive change. Every choice that you make shapes your reality, and when you begin to make choices that are aligned with your divine purpose, you unlock your true potential and begin to experience the freedom that is your true birthright. This power is always within you, waiting to be claimed. Therefore, you are the key to your own freedom, and by taking the next steps on your personal journey of self-mastery, you can begin to experience a life that is aligned with your highest aspirations, remembering that the power you seek is not outside of you, but within you, and that this information is the key to unlocking that power and stepping onto the path of freedom. And that by choosing to claim your power, you are not just changing your own life, but the lives of countless others, becoming a catalyst for a new era of human consciousness, moving from limitations to limitless potential. The time to act is now. The journey that we have undertaken together has been one of profound discovery, moving from the commonly accepted narrative of a singular supreme creator to the challenging revelation of a demiurge, a flawed entity within a larger, more complex cosmic structure, a journey that invites a complete reevaluation of the nature of reality and of divinity itself. This is not merely a shift in theological perspective, but a fundamental transformation of understanding, one that challenges the very foundations of what you have been taught to believe, and replaces it with a vision that is far more empowering and liberating. The demiurge, as we have explored, is not the ultimate creator, but rather a lesser entity who has crafted the material world as a prison for the human spirit, a deliberate act that has kept humanity in a state of spiritual amnesia and limitation. But this knowledge is not meant to instill despair. It is meant to empower you to take the steps needed to break free from those limitations, and to reclaim your divine heritage, and to begin to see the nature of your own infinite potential. The key to this freedom lies in recognizing the power within, the spark of divinity that resides within each of you, that is not an external God, but an essence, a true reflection of the source, which has always been a part of you and will always be, a power that can be accessed directly and is not limited or exclusive, but inherent to your very being. This realization is the first step on the journey of self-mastery and the key to unlocking your divine potential. This shift in understanding is not merely a personal transformation, but has implications for your relationships with others and for the world at large. It frees you from the patterns of victimhood, blame, and separation, patterns that are the hallmarks of the demiurge's control, and instead, it empowers you to recognize your role in the creation of your own reality and the role that you have in the collective destiny of humanity. Personal transformation is the essential ingredient for transforming the world, showing you that every step you take towards greater freedom also creates greater freedom for all, highlighting that this path is both individual and collective, and each one of you has a role to play in the liberation of humanity. By understanding the demiurge's influence over social structures and the way that these are designed to keep you disempowered and separated, you can begin to actively resist his narrative of control, making conscious choices that reclaim your power, not only for yourself, but for all, understanding that the journey that you are on is not merely a personal one, but a path of collective liberation. This path has tremendous implications for social change and the betterment of humanity. The journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakening is not separate from the collective awakening of humanity, as you are all interconnected, parts of a single web of consciousness, demonstrating that your liberation is also the liberation of all beings, and therefore, by helping others to awaken, you are also contributing to your own growth and freedom, creating a powerful force for positive change. The idea that the personal journey is separate from the collective is simply another illusion that must be overcome, understanding that the path of individual growth is also the path of collective evolution, recognizing that every act of compassion, every act of kindness, every choice of consciousness has a direct effect on the collective. By choosing to break free from limiting structures and destructive patterns, you are not just improving your own lives, but you are also contributing to the liberation of humanity from the demiurge's control, adding your unique perspective, your unique power, and your unique vision to the collective movement towards a better world. You are not alone in this journey, and the more you recognize that, the easier the journey becomes. The path forward is not one of passive acceptance or blind obedience, but of conscious and deliberate action, focusing on taking personal responsibility as the key to transformation, consciously choosing the thoughts, actions, and beliefs that will create your desired reality. By becoming aware of the patterns, systems, and structures of control that seek to limit your divine potential. And actively choosing to resist, not from a place of anger or fear, but from a place of empowerment and clarity. The freedom that you seek does not come from external sources, but from the conscious choices that you make daily and from the actions that you take to create the world that you want to live in. This understanding will transform you from a passive recipient of fate into the active creator of your own destiny. The power to change your life and the world resides within you and always has. It has simply been waiting for you to claim it. This knowledge is not just theoretical, it is deeply practical and has the power to transform your life completely. The specific practices and techniques that have been shared throughout this journey, such as meditation, visualization, breathwork, and energy work, are not just abstract concepts. They are the practical tools for self-empowerment and for unlocking your divine potential, ancient techniques that have been used for millennia, now available to each and every one of you, allowing you to change your inner world. And therefore, change the outer world that you experience, seeing that these are the pathways for direct access to higher states of consciousness. Each technique provides a different avenue to connect with your true nature and to break free from the illusion of limitation, allowing you to tap into the source of power within and to begin to manifest the life that is aligned with your highest aspirations. These are the methods that allow you to become the master of your own experience and to step onto the path of self-mastery. These are the tools for your transformation. The power of individual choice cannot be overstated, that every conscious decision that you make, every action that you take, is a step towards either reinforcing the demiurge's control or breaking free from it. And by choosing to align with your divine potential, by choosing to embody your true nature, you actively participate in the creation of your own reality. And in the collective liberation of humanity, understanding that your reality is a direct reflection of the choices that you make, and that you always have the option to choose differently, always having the power to create a new experience, and therefore, the power to break free from any limitations that have been imposed upon you. Your choices are the key, and the responsibility for making them is yours. This is where real power is generated, and the pathway to freedom truly begins. It begins with choice. This journey of self-discovery is not about escaping the world. It is about transforming it from within, understanding that true liberation does not come from external changes, but from the conscious actions and choices that you make every day, that the real power is in recognizing your divine potential and using it to create a world that reflects your true nature and the truth of your being. You are not escaping the world, you are transforming it, and this can only be done by first transforming yourself. You have everything that you need to create that change within you right now. This has always been the path. This journey of self-mastery is a never-ending process, an infinite adventure of growth, transformation, and evolution. As you continue on your path, it is important to constantly ask yourself challenging questions, to question your beliefs, to deepen your meditation practice, and to use your imagination to create the reality that you want to experience, becoming a conscious architect of your own destiny, actively participating in the collective creation of a more beautiful and harmonious world. Understanding that this is not a journey that ends with this video, but one that continues as long as you are living, as you are constantly evolving and transforming, and that this path is a deeply personal one. There is no right or wrong way, simply a unique path that is yours to discover. You must always continue to learn, to grow, and to evolve, and to use the information that you have been given as the key to unlock your full potential, and to continue on your own path of self-mastery. You are encouraged to share your personal experiences, your insights, and your questions in the comments section, joining a community of like-minded individuals who are also seeking to understand the nature of reality and to create a more fulfilling existence, understanding that you are not alone on this journey and that the community can help all of us to continue to grow and to learn from each other, allowing you to create supportive groups and to build long-lasting connections. This is a collective journey, and each voice that is added to this conversation creates a larger, more impactful movement towards greater awareness. Your questions and insights are valuable, and we all grow through this process. We will continue this exploration of esoteric traditions and advanced spiritual practices in future videos, delving into deeper levels of understanding and providing you with even more tools to accelerate your spiritual journey, creating a clear path for future learning and giving you the opportunity to continue to grow on your path of self-mastery and to connect with even more knowledge. This will be an ongoing process, and we are grateful to have you along with us on this incredible path. This is the beginning of an infinite journey. Therefore, the journey towards self-transformation begins now, by taking the first step towards living a more meaningful life and a more authentic expression of who you truly are, by embodying your divine potential, and by making the conscious choice to step onto the path of freedom, understanding that this is not just about personal liberation, but about the liberation of all beings. And that you have the power to change the world by first changing yourself. Share this information with those who need to see it. Like this video if it has resonated with you, subscribe to the channel for further explorations into these topics, and comment below to let us know what you are taking away from this experience. The power that you seek is already within you, and you are the key to your own freedom. You are the creators of your reality. Now go create the world that you want to live in.